we looking like?
That's north of I-40.
Oh, that is north of I-40? I thought that was south of I-40.
No, it starts out as snow, but it'll change over to a wintry mix at some point.
Okay. All right. So this just, as I said, it's getting from bad to worse. We're going to try to get Stefano on, DiPietro on again. Hopefully he'll have time to come on with us. That would be fantastic. But you know what? We got 2 days.
Yeah, we do.
And the forecast can change in 2 days, right, Joan?
The forecast can change in 2 days.
And it's probably going to get worse.
But the one thing that's probably not going to change is that everybody's taken everything on the grocery store shelves. And if you haven't gotten there already, I think you're screwed.
There was I think I got the last couple of bags of salt for my driveway. And so the big debate with me and the older gentleman that was there did not make any awkward jokes to the older gentleman, by the way, that was there staring at the salt too. The question is, okay, will this hurt my driveway? Because some of this stuff will hurt your driveway.
It'll tear up your concrete, yes.
Yes, and I've paid USS enough money, thank you very much, and I love United Structural Systems, but holy mackerel, I have had so much work done to we bought it as a fixer, so I knew that there were going to be issues, but, oh my God.
Yeah.
Did you see what just happened, Sam? Joan, you didn't see what happened. People on Super Talk TV have to be howling. Do you know what they've done? I'm sorry, radio folks listening, but this is a Super Talk TV thing. Do you know the little knobs that I would twirl?
Yeah, the ones that
they're gone. And I just tried.
I wasn't going to say anything as to disturb your peace.
I literally just tried. If you watch Super Talk TV, I went to twirl the knobs and they're gone. I don't. Okay, well, now I don't know what to do with my hands. This is awesome. Anyway, so, yeah, I hope that the salt that I bought won't mess up my driveway. So there you go.
Well, and if you, for whatever reason, walk out and down it, you won't slip and bust your rear.
Yeah, there is that as well. So anyway, who knows what's going to happen? By the way, I don't know if you know this, Joan. You should have, because you were on the air with us. Sam has been talking all big about being able to, live stream his trip into work on Monday, and he's going to live vlog or whatever it is. Now he's like, oh, I'm not going to be able to drive in. Oh, no, I can't do that. I don't know. So all of a sudden, Sam is like, buck, 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 buck.
All right.
Sam is chickening out.
Ice is one thing. Snow, totally drivable. It'll pack down. It's easier to drive on when it's frozen. If we're going to get a hellacious amount of ice, I think we need to be prepared for some alternative solutions.
So the problem that we face, and then I'm going to get to the content, which I guess this is content because it's weather. But I guess what we're going to have to do is try to figure out how in the world we are going to be able to get a producer into the radio station, Joan, to be able to get us on the air. Mm-hmm. So now that's our problem. And I'm sure that somebody is working on that. And if they're not, they better start.
Yeah.
I was about to say someone is, and that someone is us.
Yeah.
No. They're on it. I'm positive they're on it, and I'm sure that we'll have some idea about what they want to do anytime here, because this is a very big deal. You know what I'm going to do, Sam? You're actually going to love this. I'm going to record a bunch of segments on Sunday and mail them in case I can't, in case my power goes out, so that it's going to be one of those, if you're hearing this segment, I'm without power.
And just so people know, that's not Dan phoning it in, because we talked about this yesterday, and he literally said, I'll phone it in. I'll call into the show. And I'm like, if you have no power, your phone's going to die.
And then
that's how committed he is to working people.
And then I said, you remember what else I said? And then I said, if my phone dies,
I'll just take Amy's.
I mentioned that to Amy, and you know what that evolved into?
Oh, hell no.
I'll be recording segments and sending them in. She's like, if you think that I'm going to let you use the absolute last juice on my phone for your silly little radio show, you're out of your mind. So, yeah. You know what I did order, though, real quick? I ordered a couple of backup phone chargers. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
those fast
power banks.
Backup power. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have those? I ordered like 2. And Amy thinks she's getting one, not after that conversation from yesterday. So, yeah, those things are really, I mean, we've got two. We've already got one. So now there's three of us in the house, not counting Bandit. So we've got three, one for Riker, one for Amy, and one for me.
Well, how often does Bandit call out? I mean,
You know what? And by the way, the problem that I have with Bandit is that he's not going to want to go out and pee because it's going to be so cold.
okay, so when I had a dog, a little one,
Yeah.
tell me if you do this. Do you go out into the backyard and shovel a pathway for them to go so that there's grass their feet can touch?
No.
I
I don't love Bandit that much, Joan.
You're
guess
too
not.
kind. Yeah, I just throw mine out there and go deal with it.
It's like you are not going to get back into this house until I see some yellow snow.
I'm kidding. My wife bought them booties, and so we put booties on them, and it's really funny to
Wow.
watch them try to walk around.
yeah.
All right, so is there anything going on in the traffic? I did hit some of that fog, by the way.
Yeah, me
So,
too.
yeah.
So there is an accident in Glenview, Murfreesboro Pike at Briley Parkway. Really, it looks okay this morning. I noticed personally that there's fewer cars on the road. So I think people are already starting to make plans.
Which is dumb because it's like
Yeah.
2 days away.
Right.
We got Thursday, we got Friday.
Yeah, and tomorrow should be the day you charge your devices, charge your backup batteries, and all that stuff. You don't want to do that while the grid's getting stressed on Saturday and Sunday.
Exactly. So now the question is, how do you prepare? First of all, if you have a generator, for people that are asking, because I've had a couple of generator clients, I don't have a home generator. We actually, Joan and Sam, we were going to buy one, and that's when Amy started this nonsense about buying a bigger house.
Oh.
And so we put it off until it was perhaps too late. Because I was gonna buy a generator from Generator Supercenter, and I was all ready to go. And then Amy's like, "Hey, we're doing pretty good. Let's get a bigger, better." And so that was a conversation that lasted about 3 or 4 weeks. We checked some things out, and I finally said, "No, we're not going to do this." But in that time, we put off the buying of the generator, and now here we are. I did have a generator in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Saved my butt a couple of different times.
Yeah, I had one in Maryland. Same. The kind you plug into the back of the house.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to need a generator in Tennessee, man. I'm in the South.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not in Indiana anymore. I'm not in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
As I told you both yesterday, I believe so, my grandfather's 89th birthday is on Sunday,
Yeah.
and we were preparing to celebrate. And I'm talking to my cousins and everything, and they're like, yeah, I don't think it's going to be a good idea. And so I call my mom, who's spearheading the whole idea. And she's like, I already bought the salmon. I already bought all the other food to go with it. We are having his birthday, whether you like it or not.
Well, then wherever the birthday is, they're going
Yeah.
to. Yeah, I mean,
They're going to skate there.
I was going to say by Sunday things are going to be pretty hellacious.
Yeah.
So,
I guess they're going to be cooking salmon at my mother's house on Sunday morning.
all right. So here's my question. What I want to know is what producer for WTN is going to be spending 4 days at the hotel across the street? Because that's what needs to happen.
Mason.
No, Mason's not going to do it. Mason has other things that he's got to do, from what I understand.
Yeah, he's got events he's got to work over the weekend, and by the time it would be check-in time on Sunday, I don't think the roads are going to be. So whoever works the weekend might be the guy that needs to.
I don't know who works on the
checked in.
weekend anymore, so whatever. But
RJ.
yeah, it's Board of Peace Day across the world. I guess this is a very big deal. Vladimir Putin is on the Board of Peace. This is the Sam. You were telling me. I'm gonna be honest with you. We have so many places in America that need to be rebuilt. I don't know why in the world we're focused on Gaza. Although I get it, if it is a investment and we end up getting money for it, and long term down the road, if we end up, getting sort of a constant flow of cash from Gaza as it's rebuilt into whatever it's going to be rebuilt into, okay, fine.
It is oceanfront property.
It is oceanfront property, but I don't have a lot of faith in the rebuilding of Gaza. I mean, I just don't. Number one, do you really think the terrorism is going to end in Gaza? No, the terrorism is not going to end. Do you really think all of the fraud that goes on in that part of the world is going to stop? No. Do you really think that the radical Islamic terrorism and the radical Islam culture is going to go by the wayside? Of course not. So what they're trying to do is westernize Gaza. And I'm sorry, but you're not going to be able to do that because they're radical out there. So, I mean, listen, if that's what they want to try to do, God bless them. And if they think that this is going to be a success, then more power to them. I almost want to bless their hearts in a snarky Southern way. But you know what? If anybody can get it done, it's Donald Trump. I don't know. Joan, do you have any? By the way, do you think they're going to put that 50-foot golden statue of Trump out there?
Sure.
You think so?
No, I really don't. No.
I don't either, but I think that'd be funnier to all get out.
It would be
Oh, my goodness
hysterical.
gracious. So do you think it'll be, let's do a Daily Dan poll. Do you believe that rebuilding Gaza will ultimately be a success? You think it'll be a success, Joan?
The timeline on it has to be really long. But I just don't think it's going to
Actually,
happen for, a good decade.
So Kushner was just on there talking about it in the introduction to the Board of Peace stuff.
Yeah.
And he said that, they build cities in 3 years out here. In the
Do
Middle
they?
East. That's what
Maybe
he said.
with the help of China,
Yeah.
but I just,
Not to fearmonger on the weather. Fox News was just talking about it nationally, and our area of Tennessee is in the red for widespread power outages. So this is officially kind of ramped up to get your extra water, charge up extra batteries, go buy some if you don't have any.
I heard that Jim Cantore is in the hood.
Oh no.
Jim
wow.
Jim
That'd be
Cantore,
cool.
from what I understand, Joan, when Jim Cantore is in your city, it's not a good thing.
Well, I know it's not a good thing, but it's Jim Cantore. I don't know what that means, but
It means absolutely nothing.
Okay.
You know what it means? It means that our weather is going to be
Yeah.
really bad. And by the way, you're not going to be able to see him because your power is going to be out, and you're not going to have a TV because you don't have a generator.
do you know how often I say to myself, I'm going to get one of those radios that you crank, the weather radio. I'm going to have one of those for the next time, and then I never buy one.
No, because then it's like sunny and 70. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Which fun fact I put on Dan's weather sheet. The record high for today was 72 degrees, set in 1929. Take that, global warming.
72 degrees in 1929.
1929?
Yeah,
That's
so they
what
were
Sam said.
extra
Wow.
depressed during the Great Depression.
So anyway, yeah. What are you going to do? I mean, if the power goes out, the power goes out. The best you can do is be prepared. Have all your groceries. The food can be, put outside. So if your refrigerator goes out, you can put your food outside, but then it's going to be frozen solid. But you can put, food and milk and all that kind of stuff outside. And
You know what I did for my husband?
what?
I have him working on a project around the house. So I bought extra stuff so that he could make sure he gets the project done while we're stuck
Wow.
inside. Yeah.
Joan, no
Might
offense,
as well
but
keep him productive while he's home.
I would hate to be married to you. No
Yeah, I
offense,
know.
but wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why anybody would take offense to that comment, but, good Lord, man. Giving your husband stuff to do? No thanks.
Making him leave hockey games early? Come on.
Oh, now here we go. Well, listen. There's things that I want to get done. And while it's not golf season,
Wait,
I'm-
hold. There's
right.
things that you want to get
Yeah,
done,
yeah.
or there's things that you want your husband to get done.
well, I help.
Yeah, you're the one that tells him what to do.
I'll make the coffee. Go run errands. That's what I do.
Okay. Now, by the way, if you have a generator, you always have to make sure that you don't put it in the house.
Yes.
I mean, generator safety is a big thing.
That, and so is using a kerosene heater to heat the inside of the house or using your stove.
Yep.
A lot of people have to end up doing that, and it's not good.
Yep, that's exactly right. So maybe we'll go over some official how to get ready for a storm stuff coming up. We do have the Board of Peace. That is big news this morning. We'll talk about that. Donald Trump, of course, Greenland, after we got off the air yesterday. We got off the air, and it was Trump saying, no, we're not going to use the military to
Right.
invade Greenland. And now there's some sort of an, quote, framework of a deal A lot of Trump supporters are saying, hey, this is a very big deal. This is a big win for Donald Trump. We'll talk about that. Got a lot of great audio. Donald Trump clearly is winning on crime. That's part of my story this morning. Got a lot more straight ahead. It is 5:23. Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986. Joan, Sam, I'm going to ask also your favorite pastimes. So for the next several days, we're going to be stuck at home. And, what do you like to do? Do you like to play board games? Do you like to, binge watch TV? You want to doom scroll endlessly on your phone? What do you think is going to happen in your homes to pass the time?
Look at you venturing out into the lifestyle end of talk radio.
I know. The consultants would be really congratulatory. Can I be honest? I'm trying to make up for breaking the microphone yesterday. Because clearly getting rid of my knobs is a shot across the bow. Because I don't know, if you watch the Super Talk TV today, you're going to see me try to touch my knobs again and again.
Oh my gosh, can you clip that, please?
And my knobs they're
gone.
no longer there.
Oh my.
All right, 5:25 Nashville's Morning News on WTN. Joan, what's coming up?
Yeah, coming up, that change in our forecast that's got everyone's attention.
Ice potential is increasing.
Stefano's forecast is coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning. It is 5:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. We're cloudy now. It's 40 degrees. We'll get up to 46 later on today, and then we've got a winter storm watch that continues as we get closer to the start of this storm, which happens tomorrow night. But the focus has now shifted from a snow event to a mixed precipitation event. Here's Stefano DiPietro.
This is the combination of both sleet and freezing rain. But heavy accumulations of both of these combined, that's where you get more of a risk of power outages. Sleet and freezing rain coating power lines, coating tree limbs. That's where you can get some power outages, even some minor damage. So it's not really so much focusing on the snow, but now the mixed mess that will cause a lot of issues through the weekend.
High snow totals, he says, will favor areas north of I-40. Significant impacts will include dangerous travel, power outages, and possible downed trees as well. Well, it's pretty clear that this storm is going to make traveling on the roads pretty difficult because of that wintry mix that the storm is going to lay down. Now, some tips on traveling here if you must. And they're saying that, if you can stay home. But if you've got to travel, we've got tips from WSMV4's Braden Ross.
On the roads, take it slow and leave yourself plenty of space to stop if you need to. And if you feel yourself starting to slide, stay calm.
Continue to look and steer in the direction that you want your vehicle to go. What we want to avoid is harsh braking on those patches of ice.
If you end up stuck behind a plow, stay there. Trying to pass plows or emergency vehicles, not a good idea. And if you see other drivers or first responders on the shoulders, move over and give them space. If you find yourself stuck on the side of the road, the first thing you should do is make sure that other drivers can see you.
Yeah, TDOT is asking, though, if you can stay home this weekend, to do so. Stock futures are pointing up this morning. That is the latest news. We've got your traffic and weather coming up. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Still working that crash scene in Glenview on Murfreesboro Pike at Briley Parkway. Otherwise, the roads are looking pretty good so far this morning. There is some fog. Be careful of that as you go out. Expect to maybe add a few extra minutes to your commute. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.536, Nashville's morning news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super text line is open, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. Dan Mandis here along with Joan Jones, and Sam Rutherford is producing. You got that, Sam? You all set up? All right, so let's get into the content portion of the radio program. By the way, I think it's probably too late to buy a generator anyway, isn't it, Sam? Like, if I wanted to buy a generator today, number one, there's no way that I'm going to be able to find one.
Well, not the in-home install, but you could go to.
No, I don't think there's generators available. You think there might be?
Like the ones, the mobile ones that you just fill up and you can wheel around. I think you could go find one. The question is, are you going to get the right wattage?
Right.
Where are you going to put it so you're not gassing your family with carbon monoxide?
Right. And people are asking me on the super text line if I'm going to stay over at the hotel. I'm debating it. Can I just be personal for a moment? If there's going to be a big time power outage, I want to be with my family and make sure that they're safe.
Exactly.
So.
And warm, more importantly. That's part of keeping them safe there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be a jerk, but, that's no longer my problem. When they made me just a host, that's no longer my problem. So my responsibility lies in 5 to 9. But, I mean, if the power's out, then really what are you going to do? So, I mean, I don't know what else to say about it other than if, I'm not going to risk my family being alone for, 3 or 4 days with no power and them being by themselves. I'm just not going to do that. So this is a radio show. This is a radio station. That's my family. And I think a lot of people are going to feel that way. Now if they want to all come stay with me at, the Comfort Inn or whatever, which I'm sure that they would absolutely love to do.
Oh, what if the power went out there?
Oh, that would be even
Now
awfuler.
Now you're trapped in a 15 by 20 room.
Yeah.
With one bathroom.
But you could still go swimming. Is there a pool?
I
go ice skating.
was about to say.
Yeah, Joan, people ask me if I'm going to stay at the hotel across the street to make sure that we can, as a station and as a show, be on the air. And it's like, no, I'm really not. I mean, I'm not going to leave my family alone for 3 or 4 days with the possibility of a long-term power outage. Just not going to do it.
You have your head on straight, mister.
Yeah. As I'm fond of saying, I can't afford another divorce. And,
I was going to compliment and say, yeah, that's conservative family values in action, but.
Well, that and I can't afford another divorce. All right. Are we going to get Stefano on at 6, Joan?
Let's see.
All right. So
No, he has not responded.
All right. Very good. So
But they're having him do extra work on the air this morning, so it kind of it lessens that window that we have to spend with him.
All right. Very good. So coming up in the 6 o'clock hour, we are going to talk about the Board of Peace. And there's a lot going on with the Board of Peace. This is, it's interesting. This was supposed to be just a handful of nations. And I'm reading up to like dozens, like about 59 nations are involved in this whole thing. So we'll talk about it and, whether or not, because Donald Trump has been talking about this. He says that Gaza is a beautiful piece of property now that it's been bombed to smithereens. You know what I mean? So they want to make it into probably another Dubai. We'll see if they're able to do that. I mean, I think that by the time it reaches its full potential, it's going to be many, many years down the road. There's talk of, oh, no, you can build it in Jared Kushner. We can rebuild in 3 years. I don't know about that. Maybe you can start building sections in 3 years, but Jared Kushner is going to know a lot more about building and construction than I do. But we'll get into that in the 6 o'clock. I do feel like I want to put a final cap on what happened yesterday with Greenland. So President Trump, this was, a big moment with President Trump talking about this framework of an agreement, which essentially means that we're not going to invade Greenland.
Well, we have a concept of a deal. I think it's going to be a very good deal for the United States, also for them. And we're going to work together on something having to do with the Arctic as a whole, but also Greenland. And it has to do with the security, great security, strong security, and other things.
The market, 600 points, getting back a lot of some of the nervousness we had in the last couple of days. The tariffs are off. Nothing happens on February 1st.
No, we took that off because it looks like we have pretty much a concept of a deal.
A deal of ownership, a deal...
Well, it's a little bit complex, but we'll explain it down the line. But the Secretary General of NATO and I and some other people were talking, and it's the kind of a deal that I wanted to be able to make.
Where does Denmark, did they weigh in on what they want, what they would agree to?
Well, I assume they did because he very much represents, he's a strong leader. Mark, Mark Rutte. And he, I assume he's been speaking to them. He's been speaking to all of them.
Are mineral rights involved? Is ownership involved? Did the Golden Dome sway people?
I don't want to say yet, but...
The Golden Dome was very compelling today when you talked about that.
Yeah, the Golden Dome. And
this is a very big deal. I mean, I'm a big Golden Dome fan, and I was when Reagan was talking about this way back when. I keep hearing this phrase, the Arctic as a whole. You look at a map and all that stuff. You've got a lot of ice in the Arctic region. You've got parts of Alaska. You've got Canada, Russia, where like Siberia is, parts of Norway, Iceland as well. So obviously we're not taking over parts of Russia like Siberia, but whatever. Donald Trump, he likes what he has heard regarding NATO and Denmark and trying to put together, again, a framework. But here's the thing, is that we were already allowed to do essentially whatever we wanted on Greenland anyway, as far as military bases go. NATO and Denmark and Greenland, we were all, basically as a team. Now, we all also understand that Trump hasn't necessarily been a great friend to NATO, although he has made NATO most certainly stronger and more financially capable of doing what it needs to do by forcing everyone else to up their payments to NATO. So that's number one, is that whatever this framework of a deal is, we don't really know what it is. I mean, Trump has put Scott Bessent and Marco Rubio and Steve Witkoff in charge of, the details. But personally, I believe that there's going to be a lot here regarding the minerals. I've been telling you for, months now, the minerals there within Greenland. It's got a lot. So the Arctic region itself has a massive amount of rare earth and minerals and so forth. So, this could be a multifaceted deal. This interview with President Trump, this is with CNBC, it didn't necessarily give a lot of details.
They're going to be involved in the Golden Dome, and they're going to be involved in mineral rights, and so are we.
It's not specific enough to know at this point how long this lasts, whether it's...
Forever.
Forever.
It'll be forever.
For Greenland at this point.
Yeah. Forever.
That's staggering.
That's better than a 99-year.
This is what, 2 hours after.
It's better than the Obama deal with the famous Iran nuclear deal with a 9-year deal.
Sunset.
No, this is forever. This is a long term.
That's Donald Trump. This is forever. This is long term. I have audio only coming up here, so you can take away the screen. The guy in charge of NATO, the Secretary General, he was on with Bret Baier in the hours following this announcement. He had a lot of praise for Donald Trump. I thought it was actually really interesting. He is actually seemingly a fan of Donald Trump, or he's just working the room, if you know what I mean. But anyway, this is what he said to Bret Baier following the announcement.
Yes, but what we basically discussed, how can we implement the president's vision on protecting, yes, Greenland, but of course it is not only Greenland, it is the whole Arctic. And as you know, there are 8 countries in the Arctic, Russia, which obviously is not in NATO, and 7 other countries, including the United States and Canada, but also 5 countries in Europe who are in that Arctic region. How can we collectively make sure that we defend that Arctic region, therefore implementing his vision of that necessity? And he's totally right there, because we know that the region is opening up more and more. The sea lanes are opening up more and more for the Russians and the Chinese and other adversaries to be active there, which is potentially a threat.
So he's talking about implementing President Trump's vision, sort of leaving out whether or not the United States would actually own Greenland. I don't think the United States is going to own Greenland. And to be perfectly honest, and I've been saying this since all this began, I think that Trump, he knows how to get things done. He knows how to, get things that he wants. And I think that this was all part of that. But, you heard him say that there are 7 countries in the Arctic. I just mentioned the United States with Alaska, Canada, Russia, Denmark, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, and Finland. And it seems like he's saying all the right things regarding President Trump. Nobody's talking at this point about owning Greenland. I think that ultimately what Donald Trump wants is some sort of a deal. But again, not to belabor the point, but we've always been allowed to do whatever it is that we want on Greenland as far as military bases. There was an agreement back in, I think it was 1951, that we had in place. Now, we currently only have 1 military base on Greenland. But if we wanted to put 2, 3, 4, or 5 bases on there, we could have. We could have done that during Donald Trump's first administration as well. I still believe, and y'all can disagree with me, but I think that there's more to this than just, Donald Trump wanting to put military bases out there. I think that he wants to protect the resources, and he certainly does not want China or Russia to get a hold of those resources.
Greenland, is it still under the Kingdom of Denmark in this framework deal?
That issue did not come up anymore in my conversations tonight with the president. We very much focused on what do we need to do to make sure that that huge Arctic region, where change is taking place at the moment, where the Chinese and Russians are more and more active, how we can protect that. That was really the focus of our discussions.
Right, and obviously there's the energy exploits that possibly come out of Greenland. There is the Golden Dome, as you're talking about, protecting against missiles in the hemisphere. But as you talk to Greenlanders, and we are on the ground there, they don't seem like they can be bought off. And there's only 57,000 residents. Mr. Secretary General, how does this get resolved?
Right. And Brett Baer is correct on that. Both the Denmark leader and Greenland's leader both say, nope, not for sale. Brett Baer said nobody is talking about who would effectively own Greenland. I think that conversation is now by the wayside. So I guess ultimately the question is, where's the win for Trump? Where's the win for the American people? That remains to be seen. But as far as buying Greenlanders, the Daily Mail actually reported this. Each Greenlander, Joan, could get $1 million under a plan if they would agree to join the United States.
I watched a video.
Yeah.
Of somebody interviewing, just an ordinary Joe Greenlander.
Sure.
And they said, so are you in favor of President Trump and the United States taking over Greenland? And he said, no, never, never. He said, well, President Trump wants to offer $1 million. And he said, okay, I'll take the $1 million. You can have us.
See?
I mean, it's like
money
sold.
talks. I think it was those great philosophers, AC/DC,
right,
that once sang, money talks.
Yeah.
For 57,000 people, that is $564 million. So to make this happen, the island would apparently have to agree to hold a referendum and would likely need 60% to vote in favor of joining America to receive the money. Again, Denmark doesn't necessarily sound like they're on board. The leaders don't sound like they're on board with much of this. Greenland's prime minister says nope, but part of this is clearly that NATO needs Trump, like it or not. They need Donald Trump because Trump has made them collectively better and also more cohesive. And frankly, NATO has a lot more money now, thanks to Donald Trump.
Last year, under his leadership, NATO collectively reached that famous 2%, which we agreed 10 years ago. I asked the room, I said, big countries like Spain and Italy and Belgium and Canada reaching that 2%, would it have ever happened if President Trump would not have been re-elected? No. And then in June in The Hague, We agreed on this 5% defense spending, including the 3.5% on core defense, equalizing with the US. Would that ever have happened if President Trump would not have been re-elected as President 47 of the United States? Absolutely not. And now today, this agreement on working collectively on this deal getting done on the Arctic region, I think we can really commend him for taking that leadership role. He is the leader of the free world. He is the leader of the most powerful nation on earth, the biggest ally in NATO. He is doing exactly what I hope he would do when he was re-elected, knowing him from his first term in office.
And Joan, I don't know if you heard, but during these meetings, as they were talking about the Arctic region, I don't know if you know this, but they're talking now about expanding the Arctic region to Middle Tennessee.
Oh, boy.
Just temporarily for the next couple of...
Okay.
Whatever. You know what? Touch my knobs. You know what? I'm going to move right along because you two, who doesn't like some good frozen tundra humor when we're looking at massive power outages and ice?
Hey, I just want you to also know that you don't math very well.
Did I shank the math on the
You
57,000?
shanked the math.
What did I do? I said million and I was supposed to say billion.
2805. Yeah. So we
I
give
knew it.
57,000 to each Greenlander, $1 million. Meanwhile, we say, oh no, okay, whatever. Your math is wrong. Here we go. $1 million per Greenlander would be $56 to $57 billion, not million. There
See,
you go.
I got that from the Daily Mail, though. I didn't do it. You people think I did that math myself? No. Well, they also, in fairness to me, they also spoke about 570,000 per Greenlander. So it just depends on what the ultimate amount is. Here's the bottom line. Whatever we give the Greenlanders, we would make back in resources.
Oh, for sure.
And minerals and rare earth and all that kind of stuff. So, by the way, also Trump with the tariffs, that's off the table. The trade bazooka that Europe threatened in return, that is apparently now off the table as well. I mean, we're going to, we all talked about this, but, we're going to hit them with 10% tariffs. They were definitely going to retaliate with that trade bazooka, which was basically a set of broad trade restrictions against America. But you know what? Apparently now, all good. That's what they're saying.
I think what we achieved today in the talks I had with the president is that we agreed that he is right. And he is right that collectively we have to protect the Arctic regions. But also, of course, the U.S. continuing its conversations with Greenland and Denmark when it comes, how can we make sure that the Russians and China will not gain access to the economy or military sense of Greenland. I think that was a very good outcome. There's still a lot of work to be done. We'll do it step by step. But of course, working fast, but also with thoughtful diplomacy, we will get this done.
All right, so 5:54 in Nashville's Morning News. And again, I will note one thing to, again, mention that we already have agreements in place militarily. So, again, there has to be more to this than just giving us the ability to put bases on Greenland because we already have that permission. It is interesting, Joan, you and I were talking during our pre-show meeting about how the polling showed that, by and large, Republicans, I mean, there was some Republican pushback on this, but by and large, Republicans, were supportive of Donald Trump doing what he needed to do, wanted to do, but that some of the polling, not that I believe the polling, but, we were losing independents on this. But you know what my question is?
What's that?
So that's fine that we lose some independents, but my question would be, independents, how do you feel about what in the world is going on in cities like Minnesota or in states like Minnesota, cities like Minneapolis and St. Paul? I mean, okay, so Donald Trump is trying to strong-arm NATO. Compare that to the absolute insanity that is going on in places like Minnesota, not to mention the fraud that is going on. So I would ask these, and I understand that we're all supposed to, bend the knee to the independents, and I understand that politically, but what do you people want, you independents? I mean, do you want the chaos in the streets? Do you want the rampant fraud? One of the things that Trump said, and I will tell you that if you think my mathing doesn't work, Trump also has some problems with mathing or perhaps hyperbole, because he said that we could knock down, I think he said, half of our debt by just cleaning up the fraud. I don't believe that we have. What's our current debt right now? I mean, it's like obviously many trillion. Look up what our current debt is, would you?
37 trillion.
37 trillion. So I don't. What's half of 37? 50, about 33. What's half of
37?
Half of 37 is 17-ish, 16.
18.5.
18.5. I don't believe that we have $18.5 trillion worth of fraud in this country. I don't. Now, do we have a lot of fraud? Absolutely. Could we really help our economy by fixing the fraud and fixing a bunch of other stuff? Absolutely. Nick Shirley. Did you see Nick Shirley testifying in front of Congress yesterday?
You know, I can't believe I didn't realize he was testifying yesterday.
Have no fear, Joan Jones.
You
I've got
have
the
it.
audio. Of course I have the audio.
Of course you do.
Of course. Got a lot more straight ahead. Super Talk 99.7. Joan's got the news at 6. Joan.
Yeah, snow, ice, rain, freezing rain. Yeah, all of that is on the table for this weekend. Stick around for Stefano's Words of Wisdom coming up at 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning, 6 o'clock now. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A little misty, a little foggy out there this morning. We've got 38 degrees. We'll get sunny and 46 later on today. Kind of the calm before the storm, right? Stefano's full forecast is coming up, but we remain in the midst of a winter storm watch right now. That's for sure. But what we don't know clearly right now is what kind of weather we're looking at.
There's still some uncertainty as to the different kinds of precipitation that we'll see, but it's looking like ice could be one of the more threatening impacts now across a lot of the mid-state.
Now, whatever precipitation we do see, it'll begin on Friday night. That's what Stefano has to say right now.
Winter storm watches are still in effect starting Friday evening all the way through Sunday afternoon. That's for all of Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. Eventually, this winter storm watch is going to be broken up into winter storm warnings and potentially even ice warnings through parts of the area.
Now, it's those icy conditions that we'll be keeping an eye on because of the potential of downed poles, electric wires, trees, and of course the dangers it presents for travel. So keep it here. We will keep you informed. The Tennessee Emergency Management Agency is holding a press briefing at the State Emergency Operations Center today. They'll detail their plans for this storm. Now, you can catch that press briefing at 3 o'clock this afternoon on TEMA's YouTube channel. The Department of Homeland Security has just opened a new law enforcement operation, this time in Maine, where Somali immigrant communities have been growing.
ICE launching new operations in Maine. Federal agents going door to door in Lewiston, saying they're searching for 1,400 targets accused of multiple crimes. City leaders in Portland pushing back today.
While we respect the law, we challenge the need for a paramilitary approach to the enforcement of federal statutes.
Here in Minneapolis, we are expecting more protests when Vice President J.D. Vance comes to town for a visit. He's expected to address the situation.
Yeah, ABC's Matt Rivers reporting there. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
President Trump's vow not to use force to take Greenland sent investors back into the stock market Wednesday. The Dow Jones gained 588 points to close back above 49,000. The S&P and NASDAQ composite each clawed back more than 1% from Tuesday's plunge. House hunters were not in a buying mood last month. The National Association of Realtors pending home sales index dropped over 9% in December to a 5-month low. The company behind the popular Assassin's Creed, Ghost Recon, and Prince of Persia has announced a major organizational shakeup and the cancellation of some of its video games. Shares in Ubisoft plunged 33% on the news. Once boasting 120 locations, Joe's Crab Shack has announced that it's closing another restaurant, leaving only 14 in its portfolio. Parent company Landry's is turning the Jacksonville Beach, Florida Joe's into a Bubba Gump Shrimp Company restaurant. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Stock futures this morning pointing up with the Dow futures plus 125. NASDAQ futures are gaining 205, and the S&P futures are up 35 points. That's the latest news. We've got your traffic and weather ahead. Stick around. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, in Antioch on the westbound side of 24, the HOV lane is blocked at Blue Hole Road overpass. It's a crash this morning that they're working on. There's another one at North Graycroft Avenue in Madison. This is right at Nesbitt Lane. Police are on the scene of an accident there as well. Watch it. You've got some fog this morning, maybe some heavy mist, and it may require some extra time getting into work. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.608 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, so real quick, Joan, talking about the weather. I guess Stefano can't join us, but you know what I always say? Who needs Stefano when we've got Joan Jones?
Oh, is that right?
And her name is a lot easier to pronounce.
Yeah.
Especially for yours truly. All right, so real quick, Joan, just let's go through the weather because people are just tuning in.
Yeah.
And they're waking up and they want to know what's going on. So, what's going on?
All right. So what Stefano is telling us is that right now we're under a winter storm watch. Eventually, it'll break up into winter storm warnings and warnings for ice conditions. So pretty serious stuff. It'll start on Friday night. It'll start north of I-40. Probably as some snow, sticking around for a while as snow, and then changing over to a mixture of precipitation. So a mixture of freezing rain, not north, freezing rain, some sleet, snow, all of that in the mix. Below I-40, it's going to start out as freezing rain and a mix of precipitation. So really not a whole lot of snow south of I-40. And eventually, in the far southern regions of this listening area, it may change over to rain in those areas, but it'll be cold enough that that rain will freeze on the roads. And once you get, I think Stefano said, like a quarter inch of that rain that freezes on the roadways, it's game over on the roads. So be prepared for that kind of stuff.
Is there a timeline as far as when
Things
the
change over?
roads will be basically impassable?
No, not yet, because it keeps changing.
It's
so
changing. We're still 2 days away.
Right. Yeah. So like a day and a half, because
All right.
we'll have all today and then all of tomorrow, and it hits tomorrow night. So you've got time. You've got time right now to go and do the things that you need to do, and plan if you can to stay inside for the whole weekend.
Okay.
Card
very
games,
good.
board games.
Card games, board games.
Yeah.
Do you know what board game is the best to play under these kinds of conditions?
What's that?
Monopoly, because it
'cause
goes
takes
on
long.
forever.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
I was going
Now-
to say Risk.
Risk is a good one.
Risk is a good one. Because of my, clear ADD, I'm like checkers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You know what? A guy like me, do you know what the best game for me is? Tic-tac-toe. It's over
Very
in
simple. Yeah.
It's over in under a minute.
How about anybody here play Settlers of Catan?
My brother's obsessed with that
Yes.
game.
What is Settlers of Catan?
It's a very long form game.
Yeah, that's another one that's long and
No, and I'm not a big Dungeons of Dragons player either, and all that silliness.
Dungeons
No.
And Dragons.
Anyway, so we are, we're watching the weather.
I grokked it, and Fox was talking about it on their national broadcast as well. The expectation on that ice is to hit at least a half inch on the roads, which is just, as Jones said, game over at a quarter inch. We're talking absolutely deadly at a half.
Yeah, and then, of course, we're talking about freezing temperatures in the days following.
Yes.
So, I mean,
This could go on for a while.
This is going to go on for a minute, folks.
The lows expected dropping in the teens Friday, Saturday night, single digits or below 0 by Monday and Tuesday. So that's going to deep freeze.
Yeah.
This is going to suck.
Time
Pretty
to buy
much.
some tire chains.
Well, I mean, honestly, don't buy the tire chains. Just don't go out. I say
you know
that
what?
because I don't have
Somebody said that, they have to, I guess, go out and work outside. Like what kind of jobs have to be outside? Like, I mean, cops, obviously, but I mean, I can't imagine, construction workers, no. There's going to be people like that are working on the roads. That's good. There will be people working to keep the power on.
Yeah,
That's
T-Dot
good.
will be out.
T-Dot will be out. Thank the Lord for T-Dot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, all right. Well,
things like, your Amazon driver probably isn't going to be able to show up.
No.
Amazon.
That would be nice. I'll just recall my time there, December 23rd of a couple of years ago when we had ice and snow and they still had us out delivering packages.
Did they really?
Absolutely.
Oh, my
UPS
goodness.
is the same way. I know because my husband is
Yeah.
retired UPS, and you go. You just go.
Yep. Even if you get stuck 10 minutes into your shift.
Okay, well, we are going to continue to watch him. And by the way, if Stefano does become available, Joan, just pop in and let me know.
He has not responded for an hour to my, and every time I look at the TV, he's on. So they've got him really doing his
Working that Italian styling.
So what I'm doing is just recording everything he says.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do, Joan.
That's right.
Joan, it's like, with radio, it's theater of the mind.
That's
you know
right.
all of these things. It's not Stefano's words coming through, your brain. You know all of this stuff, right?
Yes, you have to.
Okay. 6:13, Nashville's Morning News, your complete weather forecast. Basically continuing. There's a lot of news going on. Dan Mandis here. Super text line is open. 615-737-9986. Also in the news, Donald Trump's Board of Peace, and this is big news all across the world, and so we're going to get into that. It's coming up on 6:15. What I want to do real quick, do a traffic report, then I'm going to focus on the Board of Peace. And Donald Trump, of course, is at the helm. It is coming up on 6:15. Time to check the roads on WTN. Very good. As far as your weather for today, which nobody really cares about, sunny and a high of 44. Getting down to 27 tonight. And for the record, this is the one and only time I'm going to read this. Fun fact, the record high for today is 72, set in 1929. Take that, global warming. All right. Let's see here. The Board of Peace. I'm not sure why I'm not excited about this. Joan, are you excited about the Board of Peace?
I'm not.
I'm not either. I'm going to do it because it's a news story.
Yeah.
But the Board of Peace, basically, it's a bunch of countries, 59, apparently, countries, including Russia. You've got Vladimir Putin that's going to give like $1 billion. And so there's a lot of, question, why is Donald Trump's arch enemy, Vladimir Putin, going to be on the Board of Peace? I think part of this is keeping your enemies closer. Okay, that's number one. Number two, Donald Trump comes from the rough and tumble world of New York real estate, where you've got enemies, you've got frenemies, and you've got friends. Clearly, you've got Vladimir Putin, who, in my opinion, is an enemy of America. He's an enemy, frankly, of the world. However, if you can sort of have something to negotiate with Vladimir Putin over, so, for example, if you can get him really into being part of the Board of Peace, which gives him some, legitimacy across the world, well, then you have that as a negotiating tool for the future. That's the only thing I can think of. Plus, again, he is giving $1 billion. But, politics and this kind of thing, they do make strange bedfellows. But, this was Donald Trump making the announcement.
We have 59 countries that are involved in peace in the Middle East. Many of them not in the Middle East. They're near the Middle East, but they're not in the Middle East. And many have said that if Hamas doesn't do what they promised they would do, and I think they probably will, but they were born with rifles in their hands, literally born. The first day they had a rifle put into their hands, but they have to give up their weapons, and if they don't do that, it's going to be the end of them.
Yeah, so that is Donald Trump. And basically, and we spoke a little bit about this in the 5 o'clock hour, what the Board of Peace is they are devoted to the rebuilding of Gaza. Now, the Daily Dan poll on YouTube, I took the poll. The question was, do you believe that Gaza can be successfully rebuilt? A resounding 72% of you said no. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm very skeptical. And do you really think that Hamas is going to give up their weapons? I don't believe that Hamas, number one, is going to give up their weapons. I don't believe that the radical Islamists that are in that part of the world are going to allow that to essentially become the Dubai of the Middle East. I mean, I understand there's a lot of potential. I understand that this could absolutely change the Middle East. I mean, it could be huge. What 59 countries are involved here? Don't mention all of them. By the way, Russia has not officially jumped into the Board of Peace, although I did see Vladimir Putin. He was up on the stage as Donald Trump was making this speech. But from what Sam is telling me, Russia has not officially jumped in?
Yeah, according to nationalworld.com, Putin was reported by Trump as having accepted the invitation, but Russian officials later said they were still reviewing the offer and had not formally confirmed the acceptance. And I think this was updated about 25 minutes ago.
Egypt, Hungary, Indonesia, Israel, Jordan, Kosovo, Morocco, Pakistan, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Uzbekistan, United Arab Emirates, a lot of countries have jumped in. I thought it was interesting. Among the countries that have not, Sam, France has decided that they are not going to participate.
Sacre bleu.
Did they say why?
Citing concerns about undermining the international order and role of the UN.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
While their country is being flipped upside down by the rampaging Muslims.
Right. I don't know how many other different ways I can say it, but,
yes, but Emmanuel Macron looks really good in blue shades indoors.
Did he get punched by his wife again?
That's the
I saw
ongoing
that.
theory. Yeah.
Is that the ongoing theory that he
President
is...
Trump even talked about it. Did you hear him when he was talking
what
yesterday?
did he say?
He said, he just said, Emmanuel Macron and his blue glasses. He said, I kind of like it, but it was, a little weird.
And my wife, she hits like a man.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't think that now that we've seen her sock him one time?
Do you know what? Here's what I would say is, I'm not making light of this. Spousal abuse is a serious thing. And men can be abused by their wives just as much as wives can be abused by men, right? I mean, we know that happens. And we've seen Emmanuel Macron get his face literally hit by his wife. And so if he is being abused by his wife, then, I don't know what you do about it, but if do we need to do an intervention? You know what? You know why he's not on the Board of Peace? Because his wife likes to be violent. Thank you.
He could do the classic.
Peace in his life.
There's no peace in his life.
He could do the cliche French thing and wave the white flag.
He could. Let's see here. This is Donald Trump. And by the way, Jared Kushner is all about this. He is going to take part in the rebuilding of Gaza as well. You've got to do all of the infrastructure. And I don't know how much of that infrastructure is even left after the whole thing between Israel. By the way, can you find me the Donald Trump audio of him making fun of Macron's glasses? Because clearly he's been beaten up by his wife. Joan, are people going to get mad at me for what I said about abused husbands? Husbands
no.
can be abused, right?
Listen,
that happens all the time.
Their
Husbands
relationship was kind of weird from the beginning.
Well, yeah, because he was a student and
14 years old.
14 years old.
She was nearly 40.
She was nearly 40, and so
his teacher.
I don't think he thought about the long-term investment there.
Yeah,
it's one thing
but,
when you're 14 and she's 40. It's another when you're 40 and she's almost
Well,
70.
you know what? She's going to be in trouble when she needs her diaper changed, and he's not going to do it. All right, here's more from Donald Trump.
And now to bring the Board of Peace into full force, I ask Sheikh Isa of Bahrain and Foreign Minister Barita of Morocco to join me in signing and ratifying the Board of Peace Charter. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So you've got a couple dozen world leaders up there, and Donald Trump says this could expand beyond just Gaza. So we'll have to see if this is a success. I think that they're going to have their hands full trying to rebuild Gaza. And please don't get me wrong, because I think that if there's anybody that can do it, it is Donald Trump. But do you think it can be done in 3 years? I mean, that's what, some people are saying. Who was telling us that, Sam, earlier?
Kushner.
Jared Kushner says that, you know what?
He says that cities do get built in the Middle East within 3 years, and that's kind of the time frame they're aiming for stuff. They know it's a long-term project and investment, but to get some kind of framework and I guess, a skeleton of the plan together, it should only take a few years.
And see, that's kind of what I was saying, is that they'll probably get sections of the city. They're going to have to build it sections at a time. And ultimately, I totally agree. This could completely rebuild and reshape and remake the Middle East. I think it would be great. I don't think that the hardcore radical Muslims out there will allow Western culture to take over that region to that extent. So I just don't.
The analogy that comes to my mind is specifically with Legos. When you have a younger sibling and you're building something, and then that younger sibling destroys what you have built with those Legos, and then you rebuild it for them and they destroy it again.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're right. I don't see it happening. I don't want to be a Danny Downer. But if Donald Trump, if there's anybody that can get it done, it's Donald Trump. Now, after Donald Trump leaves office, and let's say, Lord help us, the Democrats end up winning the White House or whatever, do you really think that we're still going to be part of the Board of Peace? No. That's why they need to get it done in 3 years to have some semblance of success. And so, we'll ultimately see what happens. But, if this is what?
I've got that audio you're asking.
Oh, you've got that audio?
Yeah.
Of Donald Trump. All right, hold on. Let's do this. We've got the audio of Donald Trump making fun of Macron's glasses. I got to stay on time today, so it is 6:24. Joan's got the news coming up at 6:30. We've got that audio coming up. But first, Joan, what's coming up at 6:30?
Yeah, we will detail what Stefano has to say about the start of the storm and the snow ice potentials for different areas. It's all coming up here at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, now, here's what we need to do. Joan, Sam, programming decision. Now, we know that we can't actually play music on the stream, correct? So, Sam, every time we talk about ice, you need to go do-do-do-do-do-do-do. That's what you need to do.
Ice, ice, baby.
No, don't do that because that's creepy. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Can you do that? Because every time Joan talks about ice, that can be, because, many years ago, Joan, this was before your time, but we had the same kind of situation. And I did play that little Ice, Ice Baby little bass line.
Yeah.
And it was a big hit amongst the WTN faithful. We can't do that anymore because of the damn lawyers. So if Sam can just go do-do-do-do-do-do-do, I think that would be good.
Can't we just send the lawyers out to the ice for a little while? Send them out in the storm.
You know what? Cumulus lawyers, go out and get your ice picks and ice shovels ready. Do something productive.
Yeah.
And get the ice off the roads. Sam, can you erase the air check, please? It is 6:25. D.T. McCall's. Dan Mandis here. I love D.T. McCall's, a great Tennessee company. They are here for their fellow Tennesseans. Great prices, selection, and value. Now, I've been telling you for years about D.T. McCall's. They have been helping people out for 4 generations. And if you need it, they've got it at D.T. McCall's Indoor Furniture. If you've got a room to fill, go to D.T. McCall's Appliances. If it plugs in, they've got it. They've always got specials going on to save you money. Now, if something breaks in your house, like when something breaks in my house I go to their website first thing and I check out what they've got. They've always got great specials on the best brands of appliances like washer and dryer sets and dishwashers and a whole lot more. They've been doing this for over 100 years with a focus on customer service at DT McCall's. And if you buy it, they will deliver it for free and haul away the old stuff. They've got 5 locations across Middle Tennessee: Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. Always online, dtmccalls.com.
Good morning. It is now 6:31, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And we are just waiting for the start of this major winter storm. Now, WSMV4 Stefano DiPietro telling us this one is going to bring us ice and some snow.
No matter what you get, snow, sleet, freezing rain, hazardous travel is going to be likely. Winter storm watch Friday evening through Sunday afternoon for all of Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. As I mentioned earlier, this will most likely be broken up into winter storm warnings, potentially even some ice warnings going into the next couple of days.
Now, the threat for icing conditions, he says, is highest in the southernmost portions of the listening area. Well, patience comes in handy during these storms, especially on the roads. Also, AAA's Megan Cooper says you still have time to check your car out.
Make sure it's charging correctly. Make sure it has enough starting power. Check your tires. You want to look at proper tread depth, proper tire inflation. Do you have any headlights or taillights out? Also take a look at simple things like windshield wipers.
Yeah, she advises you to have a first aid kit in the car, a blanket, extra phone battery chargers, jumper cables, and maybe even some snacks and water. Other news, a 78-year-old Gallatin man is spending the rest of his life behind bars for raping and impregnating a 12-year-old girl. Here's Channel 4's Danielle Ledbetter.
A jury found Russell House guilty on multiple child sex abuse charges, including 2 counts of rape of a child. Prosecutors say the abuse began during a sleepover at his home in 2004 and continued until the victim became an adult. Officials say House groomed the victim and got her pregnant twice, once when she was 12 and again at 13. DNA testing confirms he's the father of both children.
House will be sentenced in March. He faces up to 60 years in prison. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, so we have an accident on westbound side of 24 in Antioch. It's at Blue Hole Road overpass, and the left shoulder is blocked off by it. Briley Parkway westbound. This is in Whites Creek at the Clarksville Pike exit 21. 2 right lanes are taken out by a crash. Now, you also have a crash on Briley Parkway eastbound in Madison. That's at the off-ramp to Gallatin Pike, and the off-ramp right lane is now blocked off by that accident. Devil's Elbow, Whites Creek Pike at Old Clarksville Pike. That's the scene of an injury crash. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.638, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You just heard the forecast from Stefano DiPietro. So, I mean, basically, Joan, when we talk about the forecast, before we get to some other things, I mean, we're talking about really it's going to start Friday night, and then it's just going to get progressively worse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right, we're not going to do that. That's just a dumb
Hold
joke on my part.
There's ice on the way. There you go. Now do it, Sam. Okay.
So, and the worse, the further south you go, the icier it gets because you're going to have rain that's going to fall more south of I-40. That rain is going to wash away all of the stuff that they've put on the roadway. And so now you're talking about an untreated roadway that is going to end up getting, rain, sleet, frozen ice, and all that other kind of stuff. And so really south of I-40 is going to be particularly bad. However, anywhere in Middle Tennessee, it's going to be bad. How do I know that? Jim Cantori's in town.
And not just rinsing that brine off the roads, but remember, Stefano told us after 20 degrees and below, it stops working.
Yeah, and we've got days and days of really cold temperatures. So this is going to be a rough patch. I made the mistake, Joan, of asking who works outside in the snow.
I saw all the responses, and how like short-sighted are we that the number one answer was like, hello, farmers.
Farmers, and people expanded that out to who has to get on the roads. I mean, you're talking about nurses, doctors, plumbers, electricians.
To that effect, there's actually a Facebook group of Jeep owners that will be picking up nurses over the weekend to make sure that they can get to the hospitals.
Yeah.
See, I think that is amazing. I interviewed one of those guys a few years ago. Just very cool. Hey, Joan, do you think that one of them would come pick me up if I needed them to? I'm asking a question.
I would pay money to watch you get.
I'm not a nurse. I'm not as important as a nurse or a doctor, but I'm like, if I pay, that's the thing.
So
if I could pay, here's my deal. If I could pay somebody with a highfalutin big A truck to come pick me up and take me to the radio station on Sunday night, Monday morning,
yeah,
I would totally do that.
So
can I hire somebody to do that?
Dan, get into the car with a stranger.
Now that you put it out there, I'm sure somebody on the super text line knows who would do that.
Yeah.
When back in 1996 there was a blizzard that hit the Philadelphia area. I may have told the story before. The only people that were allowed on the roads were people who were in media or who worked in the medical realm.
Yep.
And so there was this picture the next day, after the blizzard began. Now, my co-host and I lived like a mile apart from each other, and we were in South Jersey. We had to travel to Philadelphia. So we left, traveled, white knuckle drive. We got there, everything was okay. The next morning we opened the newspaper. Above the fold is a picture of one car on the Schuylkill Expressway driving It was my car.
Oh,
'Cause
wow.
I was the one that had the four-wheel vehicle, so I drove.
So you were front page news.
We were front page news. So, yeah, I mean, there's a case to be made for that. Like, people stay home if you don't have to be out.
Right.
But, if you need to be in, like communications workers, where are people getting their information from? They're getting it from us. So, yeah, I mean, it's important that we try to get on the air on Monday morning.
Yeah. No, you're right. And we're going to try to be on the air on Sunday. I don't want to give out the plans, but I mean, Murphy and I have been talking, and Chris Hand as well, where if we need to get on the air on Sunday and just do what we do, Chad, of course, lives right down the road. So the four of us, if we can all get on, we'll be on the air on Sunday.
Yeah.
So there is just... That's the question is, will we be, and I do want to be on the air on Monday. We just have to figure out a way to get it done. So anyway, that's where we're at.
I just heard from Stefano.
Yeah.
He said, I'm sorry. It's been kind of crazy here this morning. And I agree. I mean, honestly, every time I look at the TV, the guy's he's on the air. I don't know how they keep him speaking all that long.
Oh, well, it's what they do.
He does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Dana says, Dan, regarding calling someone to take you to work, it's called Uber. I'm sorry, but I don't think Uber is going to be able to take me from my house to the radio station.
The surge pricing will be ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, you need somebody who's like an ice driver. Like they have people that are out in the ice trucks and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, people are like, call Matt Murphy. He'll bring you in. Matt Murphy, I don't think so. I don't think Matt has that capability to drive on ice.
Well, in his new area, like it's about getting out of your area to get to the major roadways. That's the biggest struggle with this kind of a winter storm.
Right.
And he's now the furthest removed from Nashville.
He is. He's south of I-40, and I mean he is like south of I-40. He's like just north of Alabama. All right, he's not that bad, but he's like outside. Mount Pleasant is where he is. So anyway, whatever. Well, there's a lot of unknowns. We're in this together, and one way or another, we do hope to be on the air on Monday. So it is 6:45.
Oh, there was something that I just read somebody posted, and I think this is such a good reminder that if you've got a heat pump, I didn't know this before moving here. If you've got a heat pump that's electric only, once you get into the 20s or below freezing, you can't, like, the heat pump becomes ineffective. You have to revert to emergency heat to keep up with the cold. Did you know that?
No. Why would I know that, Joan?
I don't know, because it gets cold here, and it's so weird to me that it gets this cold here. I thought I was in the
typically,
South.
we don't get this kind of stuff. I mean, this is a once in a very long while. We had something like this a couple of years ago. I was at the hotel for like days on end. I remember about 10 years ago, we had the same kind of a thing. I remember because I was here and I was in the darn hotel. So, I mean, this does happen on occasion. All right, we've got to pay off on the T's.
Oh, yeah.
So, real quick, let's do the traffic, and then we'll play the audio of Donald Trump making fun of, I think it was very insensitive of Donald Trump, what he did. We'll talk about that coming up. Time to check the roads on WTN. All right, very good. As far as your weather goes, it's going to be, whatever today. Nobody really cares about today, but sunny, a high of 44, getting down to 27. And tonight, but Friday and Saturday, we've been talking a lot about the weather. So, I mean, we know, and we're waiting for more developments. Okay, so I thought it was very, Joan and Sam, I thought it was very insensitive of, President Donald Trump to make fun of a person who is being clearly physically abused. There's nothing funny about spousal abuse, but it's clear that is what's happening with Emmanuel Macron, because he's been running around. I'm tongue-in-cheeking, folks. So he's been running around in sunglasses. Now, we all remember that his wife, is it Brigitte? Brigitte Macron?
It's Brigitte, yeah.
Remember when
They were on the airplane.
They're on the airplane,
Yeah.
and the airplane door opens up, and he gets a couple of, fists right in the face.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. Do we need to have an intervention with, Emmanuel Macron and say, listen, we all know that you're being abused. There are shelters we can take you to. All right, so let's play the audio of Donald Trump making fun of Emmanuel Macron, wearing sunglasses, clearly indoors, so that people won't see that apparently he probably has some black eyes.
Emmanuel Macron, I watched him yesterday with those beautiful sunglasses. What the hell happened? But I actually started with Emmanuel, who probably is in the room too. And I like him. I actually like him. Hard to believe, isn't it? And I said, Emmanuel, you're going to have to lift the price of that pill to $20, maybe $30. Think of that. That means it's a doubling of prescription drugs.
All right,
might
so then
be a tripling, might be.
Then he goes into stuff. So yeah, we don't know what's going on with Emmanuel Macron, but
Have you seen the sunglasses?
no, they're aviators, right?
Well, they're aviators with a blue tint, and they're reflective.
So you literally can't.
You
see
literally
it.
can't see. It's the kind that the high school kids would wear, so their parents couldn't see their eyes were bloodshot.
I mean, it is sad. I mean, nobody's going to laugh at being abused, or somebody being abused. But if he truly is being abused by his wife, then I mean, he needs to be an example for the rest of France. You don't stay in those relationships. And we already know that she's taken fists to his face. So if she is truly like beating him up, and as a man, you don't want to hit back, obviously, how much can you defend yourself if your wife is beating the crap out of you? Joan, does John fight back with you?
Never.
All right, moving right along. Here's a headline. The president's DOJ has captured more wanted fugitives in his first year than Joe Biden did in all 4. Yep, this is Kash Patel, FBI director.
These 5 individuals were collectively on the run, Sean, for over 35 years across multiple continents and multiple countries. Again, President Trump was given a sweeping mandate to return security to American neighborhoods and towns across this country. And this FBI let out on a mission to go out into the ends of the earth and capture 5 top 10 most wanted fugitives. And one of those folks is going to be coming right back to America just this week to face justice. And this can only happen, Sean, when you have law enforcement first and you're letting good cops be cops. But let's put that into perspective, Sean. The Biden administration in its entirety, in 4 years, captured 4 top 10 fugitives. President Trump has delivered 5 in just 1 year. And I'm telling you, there's more coming very soon.
All right, so that's Kash Patel. With all the other things that have been going on, this actually flew under my radar. On Saturday, Alejandro Rosales Castillo, one of the FBI's most wanted fugitives, was being prepared for extradition to face murder charges in North Carolina. So the FBI puts out this chart that shows that Donald Trump's first year in office, do you know how many people they've arrested? 67,000.
Wow.
That is a 197% increase than where Joe Biden had it. Now, they need to, have some of that energy in Minnesota. I really do believe that the president does need to call for the Insurrection Act. However, we'll have to wait and see ultimately what happens there. But
Did you see the website that DHS created?
funny you should mention that, Joan. Yeah,
okay.
that is part of my my presentation here.
Your shtick?
As part of my shtick, yeah.
Okay.
So don't get ahead of me, Joan.
I'm sorry. I was so excited about it. I've been scrolling through it.
Have you really?
Yeah. I mean, it's
All right.
interesting.
It is. So the Department of Justice has put out a website now, and it shows, do you know what I like about this? It shows all the people that have been arrested by the DOJ, where they're from, what they did, and it's just a website, and I tweeted it out, actually. Follow me on X, @Dan Manda Show. I tweeted out a link.
I did too. Joan Jones at Joan Jones WTN.
At least I know my.
Yeah, I know. I'm
where
pretty bad
at
at it. Yeah.
Here's more from Kash Patel, and I think he's doing a good job as FBI director. He's getting a lot of crap. I like Kash Patel.
You have subpoenas out. It's not rocket science. Investigations are done by acquiring records. Investigations are then furthered by putting witnesses in the grand jury and making a presentment for a case, which our partners at the Department of Justice and the Attorney General will do in any case. But let's make one thing absolutely crystal clear. Under President Trump's leadership, he has supplied law enforcement the resources they need to protect our American communities. He has also given us the mandate to enforce the law. And the law is simply this: no one, elected official, private citizen or otherwise, gets to impede and obstruct a law enforcement investigation. No one. And this FBI is committed to working with our interagency and our Department of Justice partners under President Trump's mandate to make sure Minnesota and every other city across this country is safe. And that's why we're having the record year that we're having under President Trump's brilliant leadership.
You know, the funny thing is, so Biden let in all of these criminals, right? So it's almost like, fishing in a stocked pond. Because Biden lets in all of these criminals, and now Trump comes in and they're arresting said criminals, as they should. You know, the job of a president is to protect a nation's sovereignty and its people. Joe Biden clearly failed. Donald Trump did not. And so the crime across America is trending down. A lot of people will say, well, crime was already trending down, and I do understand that. It was, but you simply cannot dispute what Donald Trump has done. You can't dispute the 5 most wanted being arrested or the fact that this downward trend has continued big time. Now, all that to say, there's still a ton of work to be done because sadly, we do have a lot of bad hombres in our country. And it's almost like there's going to be a never ending to the number of bad hombres in our country because of the Biden administration. And every time that you think that you've heard the worst, you hear a story like this.
Deputies arrested 26-year-old Kenneth Moreno Guzman yesterday. He's facing 20 criminal charges, including child molestation, rape, and home invasion.
These charges run, several of them hold a 25 to life sentence. And that's our objective here, is to send him to prison.
They say Guzman entered a family's home through the back door. Then, investigators say he raped the 11-year-old girl. The sheriff's office also says Guzman held both the victim and her 10-year-old sister at knife point. Deputies arrested 26-year-old.
Yeah, so, I mean, that awful guy comes in, he rapes a 10-year-old, I think 10-year-old or the 11-year-old was raped, but he did it in front of the other family members. And this is the kind of person, we were talking about this earlier, where you've got the independents and we all have to bow to the independents, right? Can I just tell you, I'm starting to get really pissed off at the independents because everywhere you go, people are talking about, oh, Trump's losing the independents, Trump's losing the independents. What do they value? Because if Donald Trump is losing independence over this, this whole thing about Greenland, and the Democrats are not losing independence because of what we have seen in the big cities with the attacks on ICE or all of these Joe Biden invited in illegal aliens that are doing these reprehensible things, that doesn't horrify the independents enough to say, that Greenland thing, not really that big of a deal. When you compare it to what Joe Biden did and what the Democrats continue to do with the fraud and with the crime and with the attacks on law enforcement. So I would love to talk to one of these independents. It's like, what do you value? What horrifies you? What outrages you? A president talking tough? Or all of the rampant crime in the streets that we're seeing courtesy of Joe Biden and the Democrats? That's what I want to know from the independents. What do you value and what outrages you? Because if Donald Trump is losing, I'm going to air quote this, losing the independence over the whole Greenland thing, and the Democrats are not losing independence over what the hell they have done, I truly am baffled if that really truly is the case, what these independents really do value. Anyway, it's 6:56. Joan, what's coming up in the news at 7 o'clock?
Yeah, coming up here, of course, we're going to be dealing with the storm, the upcoming storm that's headed our way. Also, T-Dot, and it's advice for drivers as you head out on the roadways, if you plan to head out on the roadways this weekend during the storm. T-Dot has some ideas for what you can do. It's coming up here at 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, Joan, did you see that CNN has a new panelist on that Abby Phillips show?
Oh, no. Oh, the young kid.
The youngin'.
Oof.
Oh, boy.
He's in trouble already.
He stepped in it big time.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more straight ahead. Super Talk 99.7, Window Nation. Listen, I don't know if you noticed, but it's cold outside. And I don't know if you know this, but it is going to be wicked cold in the next several days. And so if you've got old windows, and you're not going to be able to get them replaced in time for the storm, but maybe for the next one. But if you've got old windows, maybe builder grade windows, that cold air is coming in and your hot air is leaving. You need to call Window Nation right now. You can buy 4 windows. You can get 4 windows free. That sale for January going on right now. I've got 4 Window Nation windows in my home, 2 in my basement studio, 1 in my kitchen, 1 in my bedroom. So this is a great time to call Window Nation to replace the windows in your home. Again, buy 4, get 4 windows free. Also, they're saving you money because you can do this with 0 money down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. Now, this is a great window company, 96% customer satisfaction rating, over 45,000 5-star reviews as well. Check them out online. It is windownation.com. Don't forget the January special, buy 4 windows, get 4 free. That sale for January, 0 money down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. WindowNation.com, 866-90-NATION, 866-90-NATION.
Good morning, 7 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, and things are changing with our winter storm. Channel 4 Stefano DiPietro telling us that initially this was a snow event.
Now we're shifting our focus as we get midday on Saturday and beyond to sleet and freezing rain accumulations.
Yeah, what comes after, especially in the southern portions of the listening area, could prove to be really damaging. He tells us this could change over to rain in those southernmost spots.
Now, that's important because if we do change over to rain, it means anything that road crews put down completely washes away. And because of that, they can't get out and continue to treat roadways. So when we switch back over to sleet and freezing rain Saturday night and into the first half of our Sunday, that causes more slick and dangerous travel conditions.
Yeah, so starting off as snow on Friday night north of I-40, starting off as a wintry mix south of I-40. Stefano's forecast is coming up right after the news. T-Dot has been getting ready for this storm, and they're stocking trucks, getting ready to put the brine down on the roads today. And TDOT spokesperson Aaron Ziegler has this advice for drivers speaking to Channel 4.
Biggest message I can really stress to people of Middle Tennessee right now is stay home. This is going to be a significant weather event. We're going to treat it as such, and that means clearing our interstates first, then our secondary routes.
TDOT has also been beefing up its staff for the winter events so they can respond to any accidents. New legislation created by the Tennessee General Assembly. It would block non-agricultural land purchases by anybody from China, Russia, Iran, and some other foreign adversaries. Also, any landowners meeting that criteria must divest from Tennessee within 2 years. Today marks 1 year since the murder-suicide at Antioch High School that claimed the life of a 16-year-old female student. Now police say they are searching for the shooter's mother.
Metro Police said they have an outstanding warrant against Henderson's mother for unlawful gun possession by a convicted felon. The analysis of the pistol Henderson used showed his mother's DNA was on the gun.
That's News 2's Bob Miller. The family moved away from Antioch after the shooting. CBS Mornings anchor Gayle King may soon be out of a job. The new CBS News boss there, Barry Weiss, is reportedly slashing King's salary in half from her current $13 million a year and considering cutting her altogether from the show. Instead, she would become a special correspondent. Gayle King's contract is up in May. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. We're still looking good for the start of the trading day. Dow futures are up 136, NASDAQ futures up 215, and the S&P futures gaining 37. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 7:02, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here. For my friends at DT McCall's, listen, I've got, I think, about 3 appliances in my home from DT McCall's. Hopefully, over the next 4 days, they all stay running. We're obviously worried about power outages, but I love DT McCall's. This is where I buy my indoor furniture. This is where I buy my appliances as well. I've been telling you for years about DT McCall's. They've been helping Tennesseans out for 4 generations, and if you need it, they've got it at DT McCall's. Indoor furniture, if you've got a room to fill, go to DT McCall's. Appliances, if it plugs in, they've got it. They've always got specials going on to save you money. Right there on the front page of their website. Something breaks in my house, I'm going to dtmccalls.com. Great prices on all the best brands of appliances, washer and dryer sets, dishwasher, and a whole lot more. And if you buy it, they're going to deliver it for free and haul away the old stuff. You got 5 locations all across Middle Tennessee: Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. Always online. dtmccalls.com.
Okay, there is a problem on 24 this morning in the westbound lanes. It's very slow through the Laverne area. And then this morning, as you get just past the Laverne area, it looks like there's an accident. It's off to the shoulder, off to the right shoulder, but it's attracting a lot of attention and causing things to be very slow this morning, all through the area of Laverne and even in Smyrna. Briley Parkway, Whites Creek area, the westbound lanes at Clarksville Pike, the crash is on the right shoulder there, and it's pretty foggy, so be careful in that area as well. Old Harding Pike in Walnut Hills, a crash involving injuries at Hicks Road. In Brentwood at Old Smyrna Road and Banbury Crossing, there's an accident. And then in Madison, East Old Hickory Boulevard, it's west of Larkin Springs that you'll find an accident this morning as well. Again, there's some fog out there, maybe some heavy mist, so it may be causing some delays this morning and maybe causing you to travel a little extra slowly on the way into work. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
So, .707 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. And Joan, so people just tuning in, and if you're hoping that the weather forecast got better, it didn't.
Well, thanks for that happy news, Dan.
Listen, I'm just a realist. I'm trying to set expectations.
Yeah.
People got to know what they are facing. And it's ice. And lots of it. So, Joan, let's go through the forecast. I know that Stefano just did it, but we love Stefano. But let's kind of get into a little bit more of detail.
Oh, I just saw on, what is this, the Today Show. Al Roker said Nashville gets up to 7 inches.
Of snow. Yeah.
Of snow.
All right.
Yeah.
Listen,
yeah.
And I get it. Can I just say that, Al, we don't care about the snow.
Yeah, we don't care about the
We
snow.
really don't care. It's about the ice.
Yeah, well, he's showing it as AM snow, Nashville AM snow and ice on Saturday. And then it kind of moves up. The warm weather moves in.
Yeah, but when does the warm weather move in? Like, that's not going to be for several days.
Well, warm enough to make it rain instead of being
okay
snow and ice. Like
and then
that mix.
and then it's going to get cold again. And
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Al Roker's useless. We need Stefano DiPietro and Joe Jones.
We need Stefano to join us.
So real quick, Joan. Well, he's busy, but we've got Joan. So give us just a little bit of a taste between south of 40, north of 40, and all that stuff.
Yeah. So north of 40, and this seems like, I'm a newbie at this area, but it seems like north of 40 is sort of the dividing line, right? It's always where the dividing line is.
Yeah.
So north of 40, it's going to start as snow. And that snow may last for a little bit. South of 40, it's going to start, with that wintry mix, all the precipitations. And then eventually above 40, it'll change over to the mix. Below 40, it may even change as you get into the late Saturday evening thing, into that rain,
right.
Which will be just treacherous because it's going to wash away everything that's on the roads that the TDOT's put down, all the brine. It becomes ineffective and it washes it away. And then the deep freeze comes.
Yeah.
So then you've got more of the mixed precipitation coming, nothing down on the roads. The freezing rain builds up on the roadways. So in the southern more parts of the region, that's where you're going to find, 24 heading up into the Nashville area. It's just going to be horrific to drive. It sounds like if this forecast holds, that ride on 24 is going to be really bad.
Well, listen, people are offering to bring me into the station.
Yeah, I saw that.
On, I guess it'd be Sunday night if I wanted to be on the air.
Sounds like Rodney's your best bet for that.
Rodney? What does Rodney say? Because I know there's a dude from Michigan. So, Joan, you're going to love this. This is what Sam has to do for you folks. That if you've ever aspired to be a talk radio show producer, I said, hey, Sam, write down the phone numbers of the people offering to drive me in.
Hey, Kevin said he'd do it. He's got a nice big truck.
Who did?
Guy named Kevin.
Kevin? Okay. Well,
write down his number.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out how to be on the air Monday because I don't want to not be on the air Monday.
Yeah.
But as I said previous, I want to be with my family as well. So I can't, my worry is leaving them alone during a massive power outage. So, we'll have to wait and see.
I wonder if there's going to be some confused liberals this weekend that think that since there's ice coming to town, they have to go protest somewhere.
I could totally see Afton Bain doing that.
We're out here bullying the ice. It won't go away.
Come on, you have to have the upswing at the end of every sentence.
Do you know what? If Afton Bain wanted to start telling, the community where ice is, I don't think she's really going to have to work too hard because it's going to be like everywhere.
Everywhere.
All right. Real quick, Mayor Jacob Fry, of course, we're bouncing between, content and weather. And so it's just kind of a little bit more of a casual format today. But I want to play a piece of audio. This is from Mayor Jacob Fry. Of course, we all know what's going on in Minnesota. And this is Mayor Jacob Fry. And he's basically what he's doing. He's on with tough guy Chris Cuomo. And he is admitting something that we all knew, that they refused to give access for ICE to get those illegal alien bad guys in their jails in Minnesota. Listen.
You don't believe that the federal government is right, that the state of Minnesota, of course, through the governor's office, refuses to give them access to the jails and prisons to collect people that they say are criminal and not supposed to be in the country.
I won't speak for the state. I will let them speak for themselves, but certainly that is what they have relayed. In Minneapolis, we will not cooperate with ICE or any federal agency around immigration enforcement work. We will not.
So there you go. Now, the reason why this is important and this is critical is because, as we're talking about in the previous hour, you have the Trump administration that has now put a link up, and you can find it on Joan Jones WTN on X or Dan Manda Show on X. And it lists all the people. It's like a public online database, and it's exposing every illegal alien that they are rounding up. So when you've got Jacob Fry that is saying, we are not going to give ICE access to these bad hombres that are in our jails. Well, that's who they're trying to protect. So there was this moment. This is one of my favorite stories of the week. There is a new guy on CNN. His name is Cameron Kasky. I mentioned him previously in the week. Cameron Kasky, he looks like maybe he's in his, I don't know, man, mid-20s. But clearly, he looks like a kid. And he is really obnoxious. He's the one that called Scott Jennings demented earlier this week. And he is a survivor of Parkland, remember the Parkland High School shooting? So Cameron he's parlayed that into being a social media influencer. And, he is he tried to run for, I guess it was Congress in New York, and he lost. But now he's a commentator on CNN. But the thing is, he's just a flamethrower. Like, he actually... We played the audio earlier this week where he was telling Scott Jennings, maybe you remember this, he was trying to tell Scott Jennings that he was not allowed to use the term illegal alien. Remember that? Just absolutely ridiculous. And I love that Scott Jennings was like, well, okay, so who's going to enforce your mandate that I'm not allowed to use the term Scott Jennings? I played that earlier in the week. There was a moment where Cameron accused Donald Trump of being part of a worldwide sex trafficking ring. I want you to hear this.
And he's basically playing Risk because people hurt his feelings, or people ostensibly hurt his feelings. So I am appreciative that the president is being transparent about this. I would love it if he was more transparent about the human sex trafficking network that he was a part of, but you can't win them all.
Cameron's grateful that the president is being transparent about the Nobel Peace Prize and his desires for Greenland. Scott, what do you think about that?
You going to let that sit? Are we going to claim here on CNN that the president is part of a global sex trafficking ring? Or
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
They were going to let it go. Hold on, there's a little bit more.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
we're going to talk about the Epstein file. Scott, I will do the fact checking.
Clearly, you're not doing the fact checking.
Who is that guy? He does the mornings.
I don't know. How would I know? He's on CNN, Joan.
What?
So
Honestly.
he's like, Scott, I'll do the fact checking. You weren't going to do the fact checking. He just completely let that go. And I love that, Scott is like, you're just going to let that go? Is that what you're going to do? You're just going to let that go?
As we go along here. Repeat what you said about the global sex trafficking ring.
Now this is funny. Listen to Cameron Kasky and listen to how suddenly, now that he's being called on the carpet, he sounds a little less confident in what he said.
That Donald Trump was provably very involved with it?
Okay, we'll get to that later. I mean...
Yeah. So they did not get to that later. And I would like to know from old Cameron Kasky, what proof do you have? Well, now guess what has happened? He's had to come out, and have you seen the apology?
Yeah, I did.
So he sends out this apology. I would like to... He's been on the job like a week at CNN. Oh, we didn't do the traffic. I'll read the apology after I do the traffic, 7:17 on WTN, time to check the roads. Very good. As far as your weather for today, I think a little bit of rain, 44, but really we're looking at Friday and Saturday, and the snow and the ice that is coming in. We'll have your complete forecast coming in at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So this guy's been on the panel with Abby Phillip for like a week, and I don't know what credibility this Cameron Kasky has. Do you know what the problem is with influencers, Joan? And I've said this before, and listen, they got scoreboard. They got more people listening and watching them than me. But the problem with influencers is that they're not, generally speaking, held to any sort of accountability. Like, I don't think that they are. They can say some of the darndest things or some of the most bass-backward things or some of the most crazy things. And what do they get? What accountability do they ultimately end up receiving? Well, they end up getting more followers, and they end up, being more influential for some of the things that they say. So, but I don't know what firepower or what credibility Cameron Kasky has.
Oh, you won't like it.
Go ahead, real quick, and then I'm going to read the apology.
He's a survivor of the Parkland, Florida shooting.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know what that means. Did he actually take a bullet? I don't know.
No, he just went to school there, and now he's apparently...
Wait. So he went to school that day,
yeah,
and so now he gets to claim survivor status?
Google has him listed as an American activist, and he's apparently running for the United States House of Representatives in New York.
He lost.
Yeah?
Yeah, he lost.
Okay, good.
So he went to school that day, and so now he gets to claim survivor status. Whatever. Anyway.
No, he is running for the 2026 election in New York.
Okay, I thought he lost, or maybe he lost.
Lose. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It said it'll be held on November 3rd, 2026. That hadn't happened yet, so he is.
Why did I see? Well, maybe he's going to run again.
Yeah, he has announced he was running for Congress.
Because I read a whole thing that why he lost, and he lost because he's arrogant.
Oh, he withdrew as of January.
Okay, so here's what Cameron Kasky says. I would like to retract my comments from CNN last night and truly apologize. I don't think he's truly apologizing. Donald Trump was obviously not involved with a giant international child sex trafficking ring where women and children were systematically raped by elites. I said that by accident and didn't mean it. That didn't sound like an accident to me, Joan. Did that sound like an accident to you? I could replay it.
Absolutely not.
But, I mean, that wasn't an accident. I'm trying to come up with something you might accidentally say. Like, truly, there would be an accident. But I can't think of one. So, anyway, not one that I can say on the radio. You know what? If I wanted to call somebody a sucker, but I accidentally put the F in there, that's an accident. Now, I may mean it, but it would be a true accident because I can't say that on the radio, which is why I need to start doing more podcasts. Anyway, moving on.
Now I know why he's being pushed around so heavily on us.
Why?
He's queer.
There you go.
Yep.
Now you know.
He came out in 2021. And it was really funny. Wikipedia has him as education. Columbia University, parentheses, attended. Not graduated, attended.
Kind of like he attended school the day of the Parkland shooting.
He has been places. That's all he's ever done.
And I don't think he's very good as a panelist because, I mean, basically, I don't know.
Orange man bad. That's all he's got to say.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what it is. All right, so I was talking earlier about, I don't know if we have time to do this. Do we have time to do this now? The whole thing with Chris Cuomo and Chris
we got
Cuomo.
time. We can do it.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right, so same guy, Cameron Kasky, and this is just, this is what Scott Jennings has to put up with on CNN, where, they're talking about illegal aliens, and I'm trying to see if I have the original comment from...
he includes it.
Oh, is it included?
Yeah, Cuomo includes it.
All right, so this is Scott Jennings being told by this Cameron Kasky that he is not allowed to utilize the term illegal alien. Here it is.
Saying, how are you going to enforce it? How are you going to enforce me not saying the word illegals anymore? How are you going to do that?
Say illegals anymore because ICE is directly targeting legal citizens of this country. And how
are you going to enforce your edict on me, just out of curiosity?
Listen, I understand.
But just listen to his point about illegals.
What are you, bully now? What are you, tough guy? Because you're talking to this kid?
Pause that real quick.
Right?
Pause. So, do you know what I love? I love how and by the way, I like Chris Cuomo. I do believe that he's a straight shooter. I think he's misguided, but I love how Chris Cuomo, did you pick up on this, Sam and Joan? Chris Cuomo is mocking Scott Jennings for trying to be a tough guy as Chris Cuomo puts on his tough guy persona.
And
did you notice that?
He's saying he's bullying a kid. He's 26, dude.
Okay. Memo to Chris Cuomo. He's on CNN and he's in the line of fire. So, no, Scott Jennings is not under any kind of a obligation to withhold his fire if this dude is calling Scott Jennings demented. And this dude is saying to Scott Jennings, you're not allowed to use the term illegal alien. Oh, and by the way, F you to the left for trying to tell Americans what words we can use and not use. There's that aspect of this as well.
I would have thought Chris Cuomo would have wanted Scott Jennings to treat him equally. So I don't think it would have mattered who you were if you said that to Scott Jennings. He was going to respond in kind.
All right, so is that it? No, I think there's a little bit more.
Calling people illegals. They're called illegal aliens in the law. And you know what?
Well, they are.
A long time ago, Republicans and Democrats switched to undocumented. Why? Because it seemed inhuman. That's why. They changed the vernacular, and you know it. But that's not the point.
Well, can I say what my point is? So I don't mind utilizing the term illegal alien. If you'd like to use the term documented, that's your choice. But if you're worried about dehumanizing people, can we talk about the fact that people like Chris Cuomo and people like Cameron Kasky, do you know who really is dehumanized here? Is the victims of illegal aliens. They're the ones that the left refuses to talk about. They're the ones that the left won't even mention their name. And when they do, i.e. Joe Biden, they can't even say their names correctly. So if you want to start talking Chris Cuomo about who is being dehumanized. Let's talk about how the left is dehumanizing the victims of illegal aliens. And every single day, there's another story of somebody killed by an illegal alien.
He basically concludes the video. It's a little bit longer to play it, but he concludes it by saying that if you don't watch your mouth, essentially, if you're going to be rude, you're going to get your ass beat, and that you are responsible for when people act out violently. And it's like, no. My words, yeah, that's what Cuomo says. My words have nothing to do with that in my mind. That's what, I don't know how Cuomo is going to say that because I say something, it's going to make people act violently. They make the conscious effort to act violently. That's on them.
So silence is violence. Using the wrong words is violence. Yet what is happening in Minnesota apparently is not violent. That's kind of what he's trying to sell.
Yeah.
You know, I thought maybe Chris Cuomo was a bit of a straight shooter. I think he's just more of a
He's a fake tough guy.
7:26 and Nashville's Morning News. Joan was coming up in the news at 7:30.
Hey, we just got some information from President Trump about what that Greenland deal looks like. We've got that coming up here along with your forecast. Of course, we're going to do that. Coming up here at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
7:27, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super text line is open, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. Going to go to a quick commercial break. We'll return next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. $7:28, Nashville's Morning News. Loan Pronto. Listen, they've got fixed rate mortgages with APRs right now as low as 4.89%. That is the lowest in years. Dan Mandis here. Yeah, smart homeowners are taking advantage of this while they can. If you got stuck in a 6% loan, you can lower your payment big time with Loan Pronto. Or you can keep that primary mortgage intact and get cash out of your equity with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Now, one homeowner just got $250,000 out of their home. They paid off all their credit cards and a couple of car loans as well, and they cut their monthly expenses by $2,000. Call right now and see what option works best for you. But don't miss the big rate drop of 2026. Ask about new home loans, VA loans, full cash out refis, or their famous Rapid Equity Loan. You can close in less than a couple of weeks, and you may be able to skip your next two house payments altogether. 615-499-5780, 615-499-5780. Find them online at loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal with no hard credit pull. 615-499-5780, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Hey, it's Dan Mandis for my friends at Xfinity, and yes, they are celebrating their 5-year price guarantee. They're calling it their gold medal celebration. You know, when Team USA is on, you can almost see the moment that a kid starts believing they could be next. Now, while Xfinity can't necessarily guarantee that, they can guarantee something just as important. that your internet price is not going to change for 5 years. That's right. No contracts, no commitments, just the same great price for 5 years. So while your kid is ordering gear online, streaming highlighter reels, or video chatting with coaches, your Xfinity internet is not going to budge. And who knows, by the time the next Olympic Winter Games rolls around, your kid could be getting fitted for their very own Team USA uniform. And guess what? You, my friends, will still be paying the same price for reliable Wi-Fi. And now there is even more to enjoy with the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That is a $10.99 a month value. Xfinity, imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary. To get started, call 1-800-XFINITY. Find them online, xfinity.com, or drop into a store today.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, and our winter storm watch continues as we get closer to the start of that storm tomorrow night. But the focus has now shifted from a snow event to a mixed precipitation event. Here's Stefano on that.
Sleet and freezing rain. But heavy accumulations of both of these combine, that's where you get more of a risk of power outages. Sleet and freezing rain coating power lines, coating tree limbs. That's where you can get some power outages, even some minor damage. So it's not really so much focusing on the snow, but now the mixed mess that will cause a lot of issues through the weekend.
Yeah, highest snow totals favoring areas north of I-40. Significant impacts will include dangerous travel, power outages, possibly down trees as well. President Trump just confirming this morning to Fox Business that the U.S. will have total access, he says, to Greenland, and it won't cost us a thing. Here he is speaking with Maria Bartiromo.
We're getting everything we want at no cost.
So the Golden Dome will be on Greenland?
A piece of it, yes, and it's a very important part because it's everything comes over Greenland. If the bad guys start shooting, it comes over Greenland. So we knock it down. It's pretty infallible. It's amazing.
Yeah, President Trump saying that the deal for U.S. access to Greenland will have no end. That is the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 7:35, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Now, listen, they've got all kinds of ways to help you heal, and they've got a brand new piece of machinery. It is called the HydroWave. And again, it's brand new. It's one of the best ways that you will ever find to get rid of your chronic back and neck pain, among many other pain points. Listen, if you've got that back and neck pain, sciatica, slipped or bulging spinal discs, herniated discs, spinal stenosis, numbness or weakness in the arms and legs, fingers or toes, that can be a past memory of yesteryear, because the Wellness Institute of Nashville, they've got the Hydro Wave. They've also got, of course, non-surgical spinal decompression therapy, and you can get it for 47% off here in 2026. Right now, it is their special for the month of January, 47% off non-surgical spinal decompression for the new year. Check them out. Call them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-246-5009. 615-246-5009 is the phone number. The website, painisbad.com. This is the place that helped me with my chronic back and neck pain. When I first arrived in Nashville, I'll be forever grateful. You can check them out as well, 615-246-5009. Find them online anytime for that 47% off spinal decompression. The website, painisbad.com, painisbad.com. Hold on, Joan. I've got to do a commercial.
Oh, gosh, get out of here.
I know. I'd like to, actually. I'd like to get out of here. All right, real quick. Mark Spain, you can have a seat if you want. Watch me read this commercial. I'm sure it'll be fascinating. Mark Spain Real Estate. You can start the year off stress-free and sell your home with Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer. You're going to save time, make the most money, and eliminate all the hassle as well. You won't have to worry about the hassle of constant cleaning and making costly repairs. With Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer, you can receive the strongest all-cash offer in the industry and move when you're ready. No showings, no open houses, and no stress. Selling your home, of course, is one of the biggest financial decisions you are ever going to make. So who you work with matters. Now, they've got over 14,000 five-star reviews, and you can trust the most experienced real estate team in America to sell your home quickly and for top dollar. So find out what your guaranteed offer would be. There's no obligation. Call him, tell him Dan told you to reach out, 855-299-SOLD, 855-299-SOLD. Find him online anytime, markspain.com, to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com, and start packing.
All right, drivers, as you're making your way into town this morning, there is significant backup and delay building on all interstates into town, specifically on 65 and 24. There's a crash reported before Waldron Road at exit 64 on I-24 westbound. Got a crash reported with the left shoulder blocked at Bell Road, exit 59. Still working that crash out there at Clarksville Pike, exit 21 area. Got an injury crash at Briley Parkway and Kermit Drive. Injury crash at Old Smyrna Road and Banbury Crossing. A crash at West End Avenue near Elliston Place and 25th Avenue. Out in Bordeaux, Buena Vista Pike and Risha Lane, there is a crash. And did I miss anything up here? Briley Parkway westbound, Clarksville Pike covered that. Another one on I-24 westbound before Bell Road. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning. Oh, and
Did
a
you see that freezing fog advisory?
That just popped up right now. Freezing fog advisory until 9 a.m. in Nashville, reported by the radar. We got your traffic and weather every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
740 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So, Joan, apparently my comments earlier about the independents
Yeah.
has upset some independents.
Mm.
All I was doing was asking a question about what do the independents value? Because if Donald Trump is losing independence over, all of this nonsense with Greenland, but the left isn't losing independence over the nonsense that is going on in Minnesota and other, cities across America, then I got to ask what the independents really value. And by the way, I'm not bashing independence. I'm just asking, if you're all up in arms about Greenland, really? But you're not up in arms over the fraud that is going on in Minnesota, the crime that is going on in Minnesota? And by the way, the other thing that I would say in this kowtowing to independence and, kowtowing to moderate Republicans is that don't forget that when you try to go too far into the middle, that's when we start, losing elections. But that's always the argument, right? That's always the debate is how far in the middle do you go before you start losing those people that are really conservative? And so it's always kind of like a balancing act. That's why, in the primaries, everybody on the Republican side, for example, in the primaries, you always have people, beating their chest about how I'm the most conservative. And then it's a race towards the middle after the primaries. And so, we see that all the time, whatever. But I'm not bashing independence. I'm asking, I genuinely don't understand why we would be losing independence over Greenland when we see what is happening on the other side. I like what Donald Trump said. I think, some of the folks were making fun of my mathing on the air earlier because I can't math on the air or off the air, even with a calculator. I'm terrible at mathing. But I thought this was interesting. Listen to what Donald Trump said. We all know what's going on in Minnesota with the fraud. Matter of fact, we know what's going on with fraud, frankly, across the country. California, Minnesota, the state of Washington is out there now. I mean, it goes on. And by the way, one of the things that I would say, and I've said this before, and I've got a little audio bite that's going to talk about this as well, but has anybody noticed that where the fraud is financially, there's also a lot of suspicion about voter fraud as well? So as one person on social media said, so let me get this straight. You have massive amounts of financial fraud, oftentimes related to either the immigrant community or illegal aliens, but we're supposed to trust you with elections? Really? I'm sorry, but that's not how that works. This is Donald Trump talking about fraud in America.
It could be more than $19 billion. Can you believe that? That's just one state. If we were able to cut out 50% of the fraud, 50%, and we should be able to do better than that, we would have a balanced budget without having to talk about even growth. So we have a lot of options, but we're working very hard on that. That's a big deal. It's not just the protests, the fake protests done by agitators and, professional.
Yeah, that is Donald Trump. Now, I don't believe that, and I love Trump, but I don't believe that there's 19, because our deficit is 38 trillion, something around there. So half of that is like 18.5, something like that. I don't believe there's $18.5 trillion worth of debt, worth of fraud in this country. Although I will tell you that it wouldn't surprise me. Could we make a big dent in the federal budget? In the federal debt? Absolutely. If we got rid of the fraud. Everybody knows Nick Shirley, the fearless and intrepid reporter who blew the lid off the Somali fraud in Minnesota. He testified in front of the House Judiciary Committee. This was yesterday. I've got some great audio on that coming up next here on WTN, though. Got to check the roads on Super Talk 99.7. All right, very good. Today, sunny, high of 44, getting down to 27. Tonight, all eyes on, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and beyond. Stefano DiPietro is going to be able to call in at about 8:35 here on Super Talk 99.7. Apparently, this freezing fog is something, Joan Jones. Chris Hand says the traffic and the fog was insane.
Yeah.
Getting out of the borough. So apparently he's having a hard time. He did have a hard time getting out of the borough. And I guess, are people talking about the freezing fog on the super text line?
Got a couple super texters talking about slick spots out in Sumner County. So there's probably some areas that haven't gotten the sunlight yet where we've already got some patches of ice building.
So, yeah, we've had some people text in and say that they have hit some slick spots out there. So it was, I don't know what the overnight temperature was, but just know that even now there are slick spots. And with this freezing fog, that's certainly not going to help matters any. So with freezing fog, basically what happens, correct me if I'm wrong, but it gets onto your windshield and freezes. And so you need to perpetually keep your wipers on to, get all of that sort of slushy stuff off your windshield. Joan?
You know what, Dan, I'd like to say I'm an expert on it, but I'm just not. I'm looking at all the cameras right now.
Yeah.
And 24 westbound is just insanely jammed. But the cameras are high up, and I can see the roadway and that there's sun now beating down on the road. So it shouldn't last for long.
Yeah.
Even if it is that way at the moment.
With Chris Hand's luck, that's what happens, right?
Right.
He gets on the road, and all of a sudden, freezing fog hits and massive traffic. It'll wrap up by the time he hits, 40 to Munbrian.
Yeah. So freezing fog can stick to a windshield. Often it does, creating a thin, sometimes uneven layer of ice or rime ice on the glass and other surfaces. So that's kind of it will actively deposit ice on exposed objects, including vehicles, trees, road signs, and power lines.
Also, it looks to me in the cameras, and drivers can correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks to me in the cameras as if the further north you get, the closer you get to Nashville, the more sunshine you've got. To the southern portions of 24, it looks like that's where the fog is still pretty thick.
8280 says, I went for a little slide in Pegram by the railroad tracks. 9773, all my windows were froze. Ice scraper and defrost fixed the issue. You know what's so funny, Joan? So I bet you most wives can relate to Amy. So over the weekend, I bought yet another ice scraper. And she says, are you sure you need another ice scraper? It seems like you buy one every year. And I'm like, I don't know where they go. So we're trying to clean out the garage. I just bought one the other day. Amy called into question whether I actually needed it. I kid you not, Joan. She found 3 other ice scrapers in the garage.
How dare you?
What is wrong with me? Are most wives like that? I might be unique as a husband.
No,
I'm
I'm
a little absent-brained.
The guys on Red Eye had the same story.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, that they have purchased the scrapers and, they put it in the back of the truck and then, the next time they look for it, there's 3 more there.
And here's the funny thing. Last year, apparently I had 3 in the garage, but none in my car when I really needed it. Lord have mercy.
Oh, boy.
2531, I hit a slick spot on Elm Hill. And, yeah, so people are just talking about, where they're... I think bottom line is, there's going to be some slick spots around.
It looks like, there's some people that are just running into the black ice thing. Surprisingly, it's, not... Let's see what it says for the temperature right now. Oh, hello. It says right now it's 36 degrees.
Okay. All right.
So, it really shouldn't be frozen. But if you're running into it, maybe, overpasses and bridges and stuff. It's pretty bad.
All right, real quickly, I do want to get to this audio from Nick Shirley. He was testifying in front of Congress. They're talking about fraud.
I'm here today to speak on behalf of all hardworking, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens here inside of the United States. I've helped bring to light widespread fraud that's happening inside our nation, and we the people have had enough of our hard-earned money going towards fraudsters as if it's no big deal. As I speak here, I want to ask everyone a question. How much do we trust when we pay our taxes it's going to benefit our nation? People erupted during the Boston Tea Party over just a few percentages as they believed they were being taxed without representation. Nowadays, we have the representation, but do we trust our representatives? My name is Nick Shirley, and I made a 41-minute video that I posted on platforms like X and YouTube. My video received over 100 million views, and it created instant change within our government.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Nick Shirley is obviously right. Very courageous, far more courageous than anyone at the Washington Post or the New York Times or, Wall Street Journal and so forth. And so he did testify in front of the House Judiciary Committee yesterday. And he is right, of course. We all know what's going on. You've got Tim Walz, Jacob Fry, Keith Ellison, many others now being subpoenaed. But clearly, no. We don't trust our representatives as far as we can throw them. They're in it for themselves. And obviously the Democrats, they're in it for the foreigners. I mean, don't forget about the rampant illegal immigration and the immigration, illegal or otherwise, because that is how you've got these states, particularly in Minnesota with the Somali community, where they are able to, basically you're talking about billions of dollars in fraud in the Democrat-run states. Nick Shirley also posted this yesterday. Apparently, the state of Minnesota, listen to these dollars, listen to these amounts. Apparently, the state of Minnesota has given over $724 million to an NGO whose name is protected. It actually says Mass to Protect Not Public Data.
Oh, and Virginia Democrats are filing a bill to make sure you can't figure out the names of organizations receiving the grants.
Spamberger, the new governor there, Spamberger, is no doubt making sure that happens. But he asks what I asked, what is this NGO and who is getting this money? Any federal funds, I believe this, any federal funds should be public data because it's the public's money, correct? Isn't that my money and your money? Yeah, it is. I mean, we've been talking about this fraud all across the country and mainly in Democrat-run states. In the state of Washington, we have a situation where over $500 million has simply gone missing. In the state of Washington, $500 million has gone missing, and they apparently, just simply put, cannot find it. I've got the audio from the state's
accountability.
I've got the audio. Sorry about that. I've got the audio from the state's attorney general. This is what he said. Listen to what he tries to do. He tries to split hairs on what it means to be fraudulent.
Talked about transparency and accountability, and you and I spoke a couple of weeks ago about DCYF and the allegations that have swirled around that agency. Since you and I talked, there's been an audit to suggest there were $500 million in two programs that did not have adequate controls, that there's been $2 million in overpayments to providers, and that the state auditor went 4 years without any sort of provider records.
Wow.
Given that information now, would you call for an outside audit of DCYF?
Well, my understanding from what the auditors talked about both in the past and I think as recently as today, that there's continuing audits that the auditor's office is going to do. Our job is to make sure that our clients that we represent, DCYF and other state agencies, are taking those audits very seriously and do everything they can to make sure that they're not going to have that kind of problems moving forward.
So just make sure we got this right. Don't worry about what happened with the $500 million that is somehow now missing. Don't worry about that. We're going to fix this moving forward. Are you flipping kidding me? We may have accidentally mishandled $500 million, but don't worry. We're going to make sure that it doesn't happen again. Uh-huh. Oh, there's more.
I do want to distinguish what we've seen and heard about. There's, every state government, every state program that gets taxpayer dollars needs to work better with those dollars and make sure that we're treating those issues seriously. That is very different in my mind from allegations of fraud, and we want to make sure that there's a distinction between allegations of criminal fraud and allegations of just how we best use our taxpayer dollars. So,
it doesn't make me feel any better. I've actually often asked myself this question. It doesn't make I don't feel any better knowing that it's just sheer and utter incompetence that is losing billions of dollars across the country, whether it is incompetence or whether it is fraud. They are stealing our taxpayer dollars. They are losing it one way or another, and somebody's got to go to jail. You lose $500 million for the state of Washington. You lose $500 million, and you're like the state auditor, and you're the person in charge of that money. You got to go to jail. You're not paying attention to the safeguards. You're not paying attention to where the money's going. Nick Shirley's clearly correct. No, we don't trust our government. And I think the more that we find out about this rampant fraud in these Democrat-run states, the more that people are going to distrust our government, hopefully, particularly Democrats, because that is where this fraud is coming from. 7:56. Joan's got the news at 8 o'clock. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here on Super Talk 99.7, Stefano says, yes, the temperatures got lower than we thought they were going to get overnight, and that's what's causing the black ice out there this morning. Then it's snow, ice, rain, and freezing rain, all of it on the table for the weekend. So stick around for his words of wisdom coming up here at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and New Year's is past, but a new you is straight ahead with the help of Contours in Cool Springs. Now, let me guess, you want to lose some weight, right? You want to lose some inches across your belly and chest, and you want to feel better and more confident. But where do you start? Where do you find the time, the money, and where do you find something safe? Well, it seems to me like we all say the same thing every year, and it gets repetitive. Look, call my friends at Contours. They can help. And get started for just $99 to see if it works for you. No contracts and no gimmicks. Just a guarantee that you are going to lose 2 inches off your gut, or that first visit is free. I've done it, Matt's done it, and now it is your turn. It only takes an hour a week. It's FDA cleared, doesn't hurt, and it doesn't damage you. And best yet, you can get 3 free maintenance visits with the purchase of a Belly Buster package. So you'll sustain the losses that you're seeing and feeling. And yes, that saves you $1,500. So call them right now and book 615-236-9960, 615-236-9960, online at contoursllc.com. You start today, be one of the first 10 callers right now. You get that $99 special, 615-236-9960. After all, what have you got to lose but inches?
Good morning, 8:01. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Well, some drivers are running into patches of black ice this morning, the result of wet roads and falling temperatures. So watch those overpasses and bridges. That's where you're going to come upon it. It's only going to look like it's wet, though. Drivers are also seeing more freezing fog in spots this morning, too. Tough commute. Well, we remain in the midst of the winter storm watch, that's for sure. But what's not really clear right now for the weekend is what kind of weather.
There's still some uncertainty as to the different kinds of precipitation that we'll see, but it's looking like ice could be one of the more threatening impacts now across a lot of the mid-state.
Now, whatever precipitation we see, it'll begin on Friday night. Stefano's got more on that.
Winter storm watches are still in effect starting Friday evening all the way through Sunday afternoon. That's for all of Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. Eventually, this winter storm watch is going to be broken up into winter storm warnings and potentially even ice warnings through parts of the area.
Now it's those icy conditions that we'll keep an eye on because of the potential of downed poles, electric wires, trees, and of course the danger it presents for travel. Keep it here. We're going to keep you informed. The Tennessee Emergency Management Agency is holding a press briefing at the State Emergency Operations Center today. They'll detail their plans for this storm. You can catch that press briefing at 3 o'clock this afternoon on TEMA's YouTube channel. Well, it's pretty clear that the storm is going to make traveling on the roads difficult because of the wintry mix. Some tips on traveling if you must from WSMV4's Braden Ross.
On the roads, take it slow and leave yourself plenty of space to stop if you need to. And if you feel yourself starting to slide, stay calm.
Continue to look and steer in the direction that you want your vehicle to go. What we want to avoid is harsh braking on those patches of ice.
If you end up stuck behind a plow, stay there. Trying to pass plows or emergency vehicles, not a good idea. And if you see other drivers or first responders on the shoulders, move over and give them space. If you find yourself stuck on the side of the road, the first thing you should do is make sure that other drivers can see you.
Yeah, TDOT is asking anybody who can stay home this weekend to do so. Happening moments ago, Vice President J.D. Vance boarding Air Force Two. He's on his way to Minneapolis to meet with local leaders and support federal agents on the ground today. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Just about a half hour before the opening bell, the Dow futures right now, we're on the plus side by 229. NASDAQ futures up 247. S&P futures are plus 44. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Joan, I've been told that I suck.
Don't. Oh, it's wrong. No.
It is wrong.
Yeah. That's
Now,
even
I
if
realize,
you do, it just shouldn't be said in public.
How dare you?
I realize that I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
But the reason why somebody's telling me I suck, I feel like I should actually discuss, albeit very briefly. Then I've got some really good audio of a woman who is just had it up to here with what is going on with fraud. Plus, we've got Stefano DiPietro coming up as well. 8:06 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here for my friends at Loan Pronto. Low mortgage rates are back. Now, listen, they have fixed rate mortgages right now with APRs as low as 4.89%. That is the lowest in years. Now, smart homeowners are taking advantage of this while they can. If you got stuck in a 6% loan, you can lower your payment big time, or you can keep your primary mortgage intact and get cash out of your equity with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Now, one homeowner just got $250,000 out of their home. They paid off all their credit cards and a couple of car loans as well and cut their monthly expenses by $2,000. Now, you call right now and see what option works best for you, but don't miss the big rate drop of 2026. Ask about new home loans, VA loans, full cash out refis, or their famous Rapid Equity Loan. You can close in less than 2 weeks, and you may be able to skip your next 2 house payments altogether. Call them, 615-499-5780. Tell them Dan told you to reach out, 615-499-5780. Find them online, loanpronto.com. For your free instant home appraisal, no hard credit pull up front. Find them online, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781. APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Okay, so we still have some freezing fog and advisory until 9 o'clock this morning, and they're saying that there could be some low visibility because of it. Also, you want to keep in mind that there is some patches of black ice being reported all over the Nashville area this morning, and Stefano says you're going to find it mostly on the overpasses and bridges because there was rainfall overnight and freezing temperatures as well. Antioch, you've got an accident at Murfreesboro Pike at Hobson Pike. It's closed on Whites Creek Pike at Old Clarksville Pike in Devil's Elbow this morning because of a crash, pretty serious one. Briley Parkway westbound at the Clarksville Pike exit number 21 in Whites Creek. That's a crash that has the right shoulder blocked off, and they're saying that visibility there because of the fog is virtually nothing. Hillsborough Pike at I-440 in Green Hills, a crash. And then in Midtown, West End Avenue at Elliston Place, you've got a crash there as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.809, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Why does Manda suck, Joan?
That's just wrong.
So, who is this guy? He is telling me that I'm a terrible person because I apparently have not been responding to him on the Super Text line. And he wanted like a Mamdani update. And I mean, he's still the mayor. And
I actually have a slight update for him.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, Willem Dafoe moved out of New York to Italy. That's how bad New York's going to be.
Did he? William Dafoe?
He has left New York for a rural farm in Italy. Well, he will have sheep and goats and chickens.
Hey, good for him.
Any
That sounds lovely.
It's not a real, let's be honest, it's not a real farm unless you have.
Well, he's not planning on eating the animals. He just wants to give them a nice life.
Is he going to ride that flying skateboard that he had in Spider-Man?
I know he had Mark Ruffalo out there, which we don't like.
You know what? You know what would be great?
If he could keep him there?
If he could keep him there.
Yeah.
You know what?
Build him a pen.
If Ruffalo is out of the country, pull his passport. Do you know what sucks? I got a potty mouth today. Do you know what's terrible? Like, Mark Ruffalo, one of my favorite movies he stars in. And it's hard for me to watch it now because I know how much of a jerk he is.
I know.
So
I can't believe how much of a jerk he is.
Famous words of Elvis Presley, I'm just an entertainer.
Yeah, you know what? But whatever. Listen, it's America. We are all entitled to our opinion. All right, so here's that. I need that little sound effect, Sam, if you could. Joan, you know what that is?
That's a scraper.
No, that's a broom. Clean up an Isle Mandis. So, although that could be an ice scraper too. I heard when this is why I really do suck. Not because I don't, I didn't respond on the super text line. I just respond to as many people as I can, but I get hammered every morning. I heard Donald Trump say that if we cut out the fraud, we could cut the debt in half. What the president actually said was deficit. And so our debt is $38 trillion, but our deficit, which is the difference between our income and our spending, basically, is $1.9 trillion. So the president was actually right because I heard debt. He said deficit. So I would be willing to bet that with the amount of fraud in our country, I'd be willing to bet it's over $2 trillion. What do you think? I think between what we found with Doge and what's happening at the state level, I think at least a couple $1 trillion. What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's still ongoing.
It's
right.
well,
We're not
yeah,
going to close the door on this yet because it's still ongoing.
Which is funny considering that the governor of California tweeted out this morning that it's the most corrupt administration we've ever seen in the White House.
Shut up.
You mean Sparkle Barbie?
Sparkle Barbie.
I like
Ken,
the Patrick
the Ken
Bateman
doll.
comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick Bateman, Sparkle Ken.
I think calling Gavin Newsom Sparkle Barbie is an insult to Sparkle Barbie. Because I think Sparkle Barbie is probably more manly than Gavin Newsom.
Yeah. And Barbie invites her friends to dinner and doesn't lock the state down and said, nope, only I can have people over.
You know, there is that too. This is a Minnesota conservative. You know, we always talk about how is it possible that Minnesota has so many liberals and people keep saying, well, there are conservatives there, but they keep voting in, you know, these reprehensible governments. This has got some video here, Sam. This is one Minnesota conservative, a mom, and she's a little tired of all this.
So I work 80 to 90 hours a week. I put on 600 to 700 miles a week on my car. I work incredibly hard. Now, the media would have you believe that this entire state is a Democrat state and a socialist Democrat state. And I can tell you that there are millions of conservatives in this state. I want you to ponder something. So a common question I get asked is, how do you guys keep electing these corrupt politicians into the Minnesota government? So ponder this. Billions of dollars worth of fraud here. And we're supposed to believe, oh, our bad. It just slipped through my fingers. I didn't even know what was going on. And some might have went in my pocket, but we'll fix it. But our elections are completely honest.
Right? Right? She's got a great point. So don't pay attention to the fact that, you know, we've got all this fraud going on in the state, but don't pay attention to our elections. This goes, let me let her finish.
We are to be trusted 100% in this area. I truly believe this will be the next fraud that will come out in insane numbers. But can I tell you, I am tired. I feel utterly betrayed, and I am tired.
I get it. I mean, that's why I moved out of California. You know, you look at what's going on in these states, and you look at the amount of fraud. Now, she's a Minnesotan, so she should be feeling betrayed. But it's not about Minnesota. It's not about California. As I've mentioned many times, this is federal taxpayer dollars that is being, you know, given to the states, and the states give it to these, you know, NGOs, and the money just disappears. And so there's so many people that are struggling right now, including obviously this Minnesota conservative, yet all of these Somalis, they're living large. They're making it rain. They got Hummers, and they got, you know, houses and townhomes and vacation homes, and they're not doing anything. And if you dare call into question what's going on, well, then you're a racist, or you're anti-religious and you're anti-Muslim, as we heard from that one fine Minnesota man. And if we call into question the elections, then we're election deniers or insurrectionists, right? I mean, thankfully, most of us on our side, we could give a crap what you call us, because we know there's election fraud. We clearly know that there is financial fraud going on in especially all of these Democrat-run states. And so while all of us are struggling, while all of us are hoping to God that we are able to keep our jobs and make our mortgage payment and feed our families, you've got all of these people that have taken advantage of America's generosity. to the point where it is ridiculous and it's fraudulent. And we've got the Democrats saying, if you have a problem with that, well, F you, you're obviously a racist. And so for, the American people like this woman here, you look at what is happening across America, and now they're taking the battle, the extreme left and the left, generally speaking, they're taking the battle to churches. There are people that are now saying that churches need to be infiltrated and attacked by these people on the left so that they can really try to drive their messages home. And I got to tell you that I really do hope that law enforcement and district, they won't happen, but they really start trying to go after these people who are trying to disrupt the church services. And so we were talking about the independents earlier, the all-important independents, and, what do these independents value and what are they outraged over? I hear more people snidely talking about, Greenland or, whatever it is, and they disagree over the verbiage that has been used by Donald Trump when he's talking about Greenland and taking over Greenland and so forth. They'll snidely talk about that, but they don't have jack to say about what the hell is going on in the streets of Minnesota. They'll defend to their dying breath what Renee Good did, trying to run over a police officer, and they'll defend her till their dying day. Yet they have nothing to say about what is going on the streets of Minnesota, Minneapolis. Even some people that pretend to be conservatives. It's stunning. And they're really not conservatives, but whatever. But I'm proud to be a conservative. And I'm proud by the fact that I am horrified by the things that most of you, are horrified over. And I'll talk about the fraud. I'll talk about the attacks on law enforcement. I'll talk about the stuff that really matters, like the attacks on now churches, where these belligerent, rampaging morons are now apparently going to be going in and disrupting even more church services. That's what outrages me. So, these people can snidely talk about, Donald Trump, he knows that he wasn't going to use the military to take over Greenland. Okay. What Donald Trump should really be doing is using the military to get some law and order in Minneapolis and St. Paul. That's what the military really should be utilized for, by calling for the Insurrection Act. And then the people would be like, oh, well, why is he calling the Insurrection Act? Oh, that is so horrifying. Really, what's horrifying is actually what's happening in the streets of Minneapolis. So if Donald Trump is, again, losing independence over what is going on in his verbiage and what he said about Greenland, then you know what? That's what's going to happen. I choose to be horrified and outraged by the things that are really going on in Democrat-run cities and states all across the country, whether we're talking about the violence, whether we're talking about the fraud, whether we are talking about all of these illegal aliens that have come into our country and are literally murdering or killing Americans. That's what I choose to spend my time on. 821 on WTN, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. Joan has the news coming up at 8:30. Joan.
Yeah, it's a freezing fog advisory right now and some patches of black ice. Whew, we've got a lot that we're dealing with as far as the weather goes, and we'll talk to Stefano coming up right after the news at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis, and my store for all things two-way is the Glock store. Now, everybody's talking about the new Gen 6. If you're into two-way, if you're into Glocks, you've got to check out the Gen 6 at the Glock store. Now, the new Gen 6 It's got that new optic system. It's got the RTF texturing and that flat face trigger, among many other things. This really is one of the goats of Glocks. Now, they're optimized to make you a better shooter, and the Glock store wants to make sure that you can get one. You can pre-order yours right now by going to the Glock store. These are in heavy, heavy demand. As a matter of fact, their first shipment actually sold out within a very quick amount of time. But head on over to the Glock store. Make sure that you pre-order yours. You go to the rental counter. You can shoot one. You can check it out. The new Gen 6s, they are amazing. When you order it, you've got to mention my name. And when you do, you could get an extra magazine when you pick up your new Gen 6 Glock. Now, this is a limited time offer and only from my friends at the Glock store. The Glock store, minutes from the airport and worth the drive from anywhere. Buy your guns, get your training at the Glock store. Glockstore.com, shoot270.com. 828, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. 0441 says this, Joan. If everyone who corrected Dan has to send the government $1 each time, it would close the second half of the deficit.
Wow.
You know what I said back to him? Fair. That's fair. Like this one, 99.45. Dan, are you saying independence or independence?
Oh, with a D.
You see,
with a T or a C. Yeah.
This is what I go through every single morning.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Peanuts.
Ah, yes.
Every Peanuts book known to man.
Mm-hmm. You can't win for losing.
You know, I really can't. I try so hard every single day, and every single day I find new and creative ways to shank. I would love a piece of that wood. That's exactly right. That's what
Find
happens.
new ways to Charlie Brown yourself.
That's right, Joan.
Yeah.
Charlie Brown myself. By the way, another guy, and I'm getting so many of these text messages this morning.
It's with love that they send them. Go ahead.
Sure. 1313 says, in regards to me not responding, I'd be PO'd every day because I never responded. I respond to as many people as I can.
It's hard. There are so many messages that come through.
Joan, were you here when I said one day I'm going to go home and I'm going to respond to each and every super texter? I said that between 5 and 9 a.m. I was going to go home and I was going to respond to each and every one because we can log on at home.
Yeah. Did you do it?
I was there for like a couple of hours. Yeah, I mean, it's, but I love every single one of them. 1313, I know that you're a fan, sort of. So I appreciate that. 2805, I think 2805 is obviously one of my haters, and that's fine. I don't mind the haters. People have noticed that actually the haters get more of a response than the people who are fans. But I like the people that like me far more than the people that hate me. But sometimes the haters, I could just make more comedy out of the ones that are haters. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Damn straight we did.
That's exactly right.
See, now here's a guy who believes he's blocked even though he's not.
Rick?
Yeah.
Unless you're blocked like I am, but I keep sending them in just in case somebody sees them. I'll say hi to Rick. There you go. Hi, Rick. I just made Rick's year. Congratulations, Rick. You got a response. I'm totally kidding. All right, it is 8:31. Stefano is going to join us coming up next on WTN.
Good morning, I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Yeah, drivers dealing with some freezing fog advisory for about another half hour. And then there's some patches of black ice out there, too, for commuters. As for that winter storm that arrives tomorrow night, WSMV4 Stefano DiPietro telling us this one will bring some ice and some snow.
We have widespread snow to start off the day. It might be a little mixing far to the south, but moderate to heavier snowfall early in the day. Then that surge of warmer air comes in and starts that changeover. Mostly happens south of Interstate 40 to start off the afternoon. The farther north we live, the more we'll hang on to that snow.
Yeah, the threat for icing conditions, the highest in the southernmost regions of the listening area. And he'll tell us more about that coming up here. So what's more American than a hot dog eating contest on the 4th of July? Well, apparently that's not safe anymore either, because a Chinese company has just swallowed up Nathan's hot dog franchise.
Coney Island's iconic hot dog store and franchise Nathan's Famous has sold. Smithfield Foods sealing the all-cash deal for $450 million to take over ownership. The original Nathan's started out more than 100 years ago as a 5-cent hot dog stand in Brooklyn's Coney Island and gained worldwide fame for its 4th of July hot dog eating contests that started in 1972. Like many companies, Nathan's says it was dealing with inflationary pressures and rising costs. Michelle Franzen, ABC News, New York.
Smithfield is owned by a Chinese company. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com. So stocks now trading and the Dow Jones Industrials jumping 400 points, rebounding for another day. We're actually at 466 points this morning. The NASDAQ gaining 236. The S&P is up 53 points. Nice start on the market. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather. Next, I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
8:33 Super Talk 99.7. Dan Mandis here. And if you need to save money on insurance, check out my friends at King and Associates Insurance. So many of my listeners have reached out and let me know that they have been able to save and save big with King and Associates. One guy that I know, been telling you about this huge success story. His 16-year-old daughter got into a car accident. They still saved him thousands of dollars when the time came for new insurance, because at King and Associates Insurance, they know that life happens. And as independent agents, they can find you the best deal for you and your family. They're going to weed out the non-competitive companies and find the best options for you. And, of course, keeping the communication flawless. They know that building relationships with the best companies, that's crucial. But also bundling home and auto, King and Associates will fight for the best deal possible. Call them, tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-321-8121, 615-321-8121. You owe it yourself to make that phone call. Save money, get great insurance with King and Associates Insurance, 615-321-8121, tkinginsurance.com. Man, it is cold today. It is going to be colder tomorrow and over the weekend. Dan Mandis here. Yeah, we've got ice, we've got snow, we've got all kinds of things in the forecast. You want to keep your home warm and that cold air outside. My friends at Busy Bee HVAC, they can help you out. It's actually Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, but they are your company for all things comfort. Now, they have saved me time, money, and comfort over the last 10 years, and yeah, they can help you. They're always looking for ways to save you money. Right now, in the month of January, if you need a new HVAC unit, you can get 0% financing for 18 months, a complimentary UV light with any new unit install, and a free 5-year labor upgrade. That is a $750 value. Indoor air quality, if that is your concern, take 15% off UV lights when you book a premium duct cleaning. And my favorite of all the January specials, you buy one Beehive membership, you can get one free for a friend. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out at 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833. Find them online anytime, busybeehvac.com. Busy Bee, your comfort, our mission. Tell them Dan told you to reach out.
Okay, we have some delays this morning. In fact, we still have that freezing fog advisory for about another 25 minutes. Low visibility because of it. Green Hills, it's a crash on Hillsborough Pike at I-440. Traveling in Brentwood this morning on 65 northbound, you've got a crash at Concord Road. The Gore there is blocked off. It involves 4 vehicles, by the way. I-65 southbound in Madison, that one is a crash on the right shoulder at Due West Avenue overpass. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.837, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Chris Hand has arrived in the studio. Chris, I mean, we got Stefano DiPietro. We're going to talk to him in just a second. But you were getting some hate because you said that, you know, you were going to be late, 24, and all that kind of stuff. One guy said, I made it from Murfreesboro to Nashville in like 22 minutes.
Fake news.
He was flying.
News.
He said that Chris Hand is slacking.
Yeah.
That's what he said. All right, Stefano DiPietro, thank you very much for taking the time to be with us this morning. And I know that, you are going crazy over there on at WSMV because, you're on is it basically every 10 minutes?
It's pretty often, and it just gets more often when we have something like this coming our way, whether it be severe weather or snow. It keeps us very, very busy.
All right, so couple of things. Number one, and we've been doing our best to, channel our inner DiPietro, but Joan can only do so much.
Yeah.
So let's get it from the actual meteorologist and tell us what is going to happen here in the next couple of days.
So it's very interesting because, you were talking about the black ice earlier this morning, and that kind of is a sign of what is to come this weekend. It's only around 32 degrees. The roads are very wet, and everything froze over almost immediately once the temperature dropped. So that makes this weekend much more of a concerning factor because it's not just snow like we talked about. Earlier this week there were, outrageous totals going around of we're getting 2 feet of snow in Nashville, 2 feet in Franklin, Murfreesboro. That's just, it wasn't really ever the case, but nonetheless, we're now shifting over to more of an icing threat for us.
So, and we still have the temperatures in the days following going to be, under 32, under freezing. Let me ask this question. When are we going to be able to drive on the roads again?
It's going to take quite a while. It's going to be interesting because the roads are going to flash freeze multiple times. And once temperatures drop below 20 degrees, I think we talked about this yesterday a little bit, we drop those temperatures down into below 20 degrees, you get salt and brine solutions that stop working, and there may even be some areas that briefly change over to rain on Saturday. So that means that road crews wouldn't even have a chance to get out to salt roads because rain just washes all of that away. And then as the cold air comes back in, everything just refreezes before they have a chance to salt anything. So it's almost a losing battle in some cases. So maybe by Tuesday we have some better road conditions, but it's really going to be rough through the first half of next week.
Go ahead, John.
Stefano, we talked about the American and European models, and it sounds like they're coming together more now. And what does that tell you about the forecast?
It tells me that, it's getting more confident, that we're seeing a shift that is significantly more on board with what we were thinking earlier in the week. So we kind of knew that there was warmer air lurking. We knew it would try to leak into the mid-state. And now that the models are starting to come together, it just increases the confidence in that forecast. And it gives us a better picture of, what exactly we're talking about. I had a lot of questions yesterday about what the difference between these models are. And the simplest answer is they have different algorithms and mathematical formulas in them. One may focus a little bit more on the humidity, one may focus a little bit more on the pressure, but it's just putting out different outcomes based on those algorithms. They're not perfect. They're never probably going to be completely perfect because everything has flaws. So the difference is now, because they're coming together, it's painting a better picture. We're getting a better look.
Do you feel you owe the children of Middle Tennessee a personal apology now that the sledding forecast looks a little bit more grim?
Listen, let me explain something here. The overhype of the 1.5 to 2 feet of snow absolutely, I think, just put too many people in an excitement mode. That's why we never actually released snowfall totals here. We knew it was going to change. Absolutely, it's heartbreaking for the kids. Whether we did it or not, I do apologize that, there's going to be people that aren't going to be able to take out their sleds. Now, you can sled on ice if you want. I don't advise that because most people will be slipping and sliding regardless, but either way, this still causes a lot of problems.
Are you familiar with the conspiracy theories online that this is all about big grocery trying to move some product off the shelves?
You know what's so interesting? We're actually doing a story today about that, why buying bread, milk, and eggs is such a big thing. And it actually goes back to a blizzard in, I think, the 1970s that happened in New England. And that's all they really had at their grocery stores, and people were trying to stock up on the bare essentials. And back then, that was the bare essentials. You know, they didn't have as many snack foods as we have today. You know, they didn't have as many options. So that's kind of why that started. And it just never broke from there. It just became a thing ever since then. And every time it snows, this happens.
All right, so Stefano, in your home, what is the bare essentials? What are you hoarding in the DiPietro household?
Oh, right now, I mean, we have a lot of pasta. I'm sure you're going to be shocked with that one. We have a lot of pasta.
What, Mr. DiPietro? Seriously?
Yeah, who would have thought? We have spaghetti. We have chicken to make chicken parm. We have a lot of soup too.
Do you have the elbow pasta? Elbow pasta is critical in my house for whatever reason.
We go farfalle, penne, angel hair, thin spaghetti, sometimes linguine.
Clearly, you're not worried about carbs in your house.
Have you seen the new food pyramid, Stefano? Because I feel like you're upside down on this thing.
Well, you know what? We buy the protein pasta, so that kind of helps.
Oh, there you go. All right, card games or board games?
That's a rough one. Card games.
Yeah.
Which one?
Now we love playing Uno.
There
we
you
play
go.
Monopoly, but we also, we found another Uno game that's called Uno. It's something like Uno the Revenge.
Yep.
Or,
I played.
And it's there's draw 10s, and if you put down a 0, you can change card decks with anybody that you want. Like it's
wow.
It's
Okay,
great.
so I'm gonna ask you a very controversial question, Stefano.
Okay.
Classic Uno or all of these, Uno offshoots like Uno's Revenge and all that stuff? I'm a classic Uno kind of guy.
No, classic Uno is the way to go
Yeah.
for sure. Classic Uno is just so much fun. It always has been. Now, here's a question for you. Can you stack draw 2s on top of each other?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Not according to the rules, you can't.
About to say, not according to the official creator.
I was gonna say it depends on if I'm playing with my wife or my daughter.
Or if it's your turn or not.
Because exactly, Joan. Because my wife, she tends to be like a stickler for the rules, and me and my daughter, who one of my great memories of her growing up is she and I playing Uno. We can be a little loosey-goosey with the rules at times. And so, it just kind of depends on who you're playing with. But, I'm a big Uno fan. Monopoly, you're right. That takes forever. Does anybody here play Aggravation?
No.
Oh.
Stefano?
No, I have not. I may have a long time ago, but it's been so long since
We
I
found
have.
a new card game that I just love. It's called Flip 7. If you can find it, get it. It's so much fun.
We got our hands on that.
Yeah.
You should look into.
That's good.
You should look into Monopoly Go too. It's a card game for Monopoly. It's a lot faster, and you can actually win.
I play often Flip Middle Finger.
Oh.
And it's
not very nice, Dan, with your family.
You know what?
and
I
all.
thought that was funny. Whatever. All right, you guys ask the questions then.
If you guys, before I have to go, if you want to know kind of how this is going to play out,
Yes.
so we should start with snow Saturday morning.
For
There
everybody,
may be
even
some-
south?
South is probably going to start a little bit more of a mix. There will be snow in there, but I think it's also going to mix with sleet and maybe even some freezing rain. So that's kind of the issue with that south. So we should start with snow along and north of I-40. Then the mixing starts. The warmer air moves in as we go through our Saturday afternoon and evening. Where there's still some uncertainty is to how far north that mixing goes. If you can get north of I-40, it wipes out snow totals across Middle Tennessee. If it stalls at I-40, you get more snow to the north, less snow to the south. I think a lot of areas that are along and south of I-40 should be concerned about that icy mix. There could be some rain like we talked about south of I-40, but that's not going to do much because it'll just flash freeze. North of 40, most likely where we'll see the highest snowfall totals, and it really looks like that, if we get up to a quarter of an inch of ice in some spots, which is a real possibility, you're talking power outages, down tree limbs, and just really tough road travel.
Now, Stefano, do you have to be at a hotel across the street from the television station?
I live close enough that I think I'll be able to get here and back, but they have opened up hotels for us. They've gotten us rooms so that we can all be close and come in if need be.
Nice, because our company doesn't. Can we come stay with you guys? I'm totally kidding. Whatever. Moving right along. All right, Stefano, thank you as always.
Thanks,
and
Stefano.
hopefully we'll be able to talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome, guys. Thanks.
See, I thought the flip middle finger was a funny joke.
See, I had one, but I had to make sure you got that number for your ride in on Monday.
Oh.
You were talking about aggravation. And then when we play that game, I
Yeah.
was going to be like, yeah, every morning at 5.
I thought the same thing. I was gonna say, judging by the text line, you just got to listen to Mandis in the morning.
Whatever. Do you know what? So there's going to be a prediction. This is my prediction, since we're all doing predictions with the weather. I predict that I will get fired before they get me a Mandis in the morning jingle. Because I've been asking for like 5 years.
So we can do our own. Like the four of us,
Yeah.
maybe even, throw in Matt.
Oh, we could
to
all
sing
just
deep, right?
You know what?
We'll make our own and we'll sing it.
Next time all of us are in the station, we'll just go ahead and roll tape and we'll all just sing Mandis in the morning. And that's what we'll do.
Yeah.
We're recording the podcast this afternoon. Me, you, and
Oh,
Murph.
there you go.
Maybe we
Sure.
we drop some rhymes.
I'm sure that'll be fascinating for everyone.
We could do like a little cipher.
A little what?
A cipher.
What is a
Where
cipher?
we take turns freestyling.
Ah.
Yeah, I won't be doing that.
We should do it.
No.
We should have a WTN rap
Yes.
battle where we all
Wouldn't that
write diss tracks on each other.
Diss tracks on each other?
We should.
You have to hire somebody to help you, Dan, because you're.
He'll just use AI.
Yeah, use AI. There you go.
I too would probably use AI.
You know what the problem the problem is that like there's so much to diss me on that like my diss tracks against me would be like Stairway to Heaven. It'd be just like really long. Or Freebird.
Touch my knobs.
It would be like Freebird. That's
Okay.
exactly right. What did you pull? Touch a knobs? Touch my knobs. Touch my knobs. They pulled that today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Touch my knobs.
We should do that. That would actually be fun. We should do that for like instead of March Madness, we should have rap battles.
Can somebody rap for me? Like, can I have?
No,
we
you,
should-
you have to do it.
We can do audience participation.
Oh, I like that. Yeah,
Audience
yeah.
participation. Have
Yeah.
people come on.
Everybody's got to do it. The hosts, the producers.
Who do you think would be the best rapper? Brian Wilson has to do it too.
I think low key, Ken Weaver would come in and bust some rhymes.
Do you know what? Ken Weaver would. Weaves would absolutely kick butt on a rap rhyme battle.
Call him Slim Weaver.
Slim Weaves.
Slim Weaver.
No, I think Slim Weaves. Right?
Slim Weaves,
I like
yeah,
it.
okay.
I like
What would
Yeah.
Jones' rap name be?
I think it's just Philly Joan.
Philly Jones?
Okay.
It's just Philly Joan.
Okay. And what's yours?
I don't have any idea.
It's only worked in hip hop for how long?
I
Yeah,
know,
I was going
right?
to say, aren't you supposed to be like the hip hop hip guy?
Yeah, but I got into hip hop radio when I realized I couldn't rap. It was like that was my in.
Was that your
Yeah,
in?
that was. Turns out I'm a little too white. Don't have the coordination or the singing and the rapping, so I'll produce it instead.
TB says, Manda show audience aggravation nation.
Oh,
Ooh.
I like that.
Yeah.
You should run with that.
Aggravation nation?
Yeah, that should be your fan club.
So, it'd be like one person and it would be me. I'm my own fan club. Hey, let's have a meeting.
It's just you and the Marconi. It's just
I surround myself with me, the Marconi, the PD of the Year thing I got many years ago, and it's just all of us,
some
that's
in and
it.
out.
Some
In and out will be provided at all the meetings.
Oh, man. All right. Anyway.
And Animal Style would be banned.
By the way, so just so we're clear, I am openly asking for someone to drive me into the radio station on Monday morning, Sunday night, Monday morning.
Okay.
So
For me to ride you like you've never been ridden.
Oh, brother.
So a guy named
I don't think it's that kind of ride.
a guy named Rodney sent a picture.
What
of
did,
his,
did he say? Ass, cash, or grass? Nobody rides for free. Is that what he said?
You're gonna have to explain the reference. I don't get it.
You don't know
get
what that means?
You don't get the reference?
Oh,
No.
my
What is it, Dan?
goodness.
Ass, cash, or grass? Nobody rides for free.
No.
You've never heard that.
No. What is it?
Oldest person here.
No.
Never heard it?
No. Joan apparently knows what it is. What is it?
It was like a famous bumper sticker from the 90s for hitchhikers.
No, I didn't know that.
Like you got to pony
gotta pay up.
You
You
got
have
to
to
pony
pay
up
up
with
somehow.
one of the three.
Ass, cash, or grass?
Nobody
Yeah.
rides for free.
My grass is dead in my front yard. I can just pull some of that.
Just give him some of your gummies.
Joan, I'm going to run out of gummies over the weekend.
He's very covetous. I was trying to get his spots out of his backpack one day, and he goes, "Did you touch my stuff?"
Was it bad that I was thinking about asking Stefano what would keep you warmer in the weather? Is it going to be alcohol or edibles? I decided not to.
That's a good.
I think we need to ask Sam because he's the resident on all of that stuff. What's going to keep you warmer? Edibles or alcohol?
Bourbon. The bourbon.
The bourbon?
You're going to want a liquor over 90 proof. It will help circulate blood to the extremities.
That he knows this is kind of concerning.
Okay, I know this because I read Call of the Wild and other historical, books when it comes to being out in the winter weather and that's like a common practice.
Back in my drinking days, during snowstorms, the best was hot chocolate with some Baileys and some peppermint schnapps.
Is it wrong that I started giggling when he said extremities?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Oh, is it? Oh, never
Yeah.
mind. Whatever. Every Peanuts book known to man. All right. Hey, by the way, do you know what the engineering staff did as a big F you to the host?
What did they do?
My little knobs that I'm always touching, they're gone.
You can't twist.
I can't do
He can't twist his knobs anymore.
Clip it. And for people to solely listen to the radio, there was two little screws on the side of the microphone. I would always, sort of twist the screws because I never know what to do with my hands. And so now they're not here anymore. So I don't have anything to screw.
You don't have anything to break.
It's like high school again.
Does anybody else feel like today should be Friday?
Yes.
That productivity in this city is going to dip to an all-time low tomorrow.
Yeah, I think I'll be here. You'll be here. You're going to be here tomorrow?
Yeah, yeah.
After this show, I'm not sure.
Monday is going to be a really big no productivity day.
I don't think either of us up the productivity in the city tomorrow, though, by being at work.
No, I really don't. All right, very good. 8:55. Joan was coming up.
We have the weather story with Stefano, of course. Also, some must-see TV that's happening this morning. And the U.S. officially exits a global organization. That's at 9 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7.
Must-see TV
Yes?
is Chris Hand coming up at 9.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
There's that, too.
Super Talk TV. What do you got, Chris, real quick?
I'm wearing a nice shirt for the YouTube audience.
Okay.
So, something exciting.
Mm-hmm. You look like
exciting
Mr.
to look at.
Rogers. It's like buttoned all the way up to your Adam's apple.
No, it's not. Get out of here.
Got your kids.
Dan likes to show off the chest hair. He's one of those guys.
I'm actually very much not one of those guys.
We'll talk about Trump at Davos. We'll talk about the Greenland deal. And J.D. Vance heads to Minneapolis as ICE continues to battle radical leftists.
Stay tuned.